Greetings, everybody, and welcome to our next session of The Hollowed. um, I want to welcome you all to our station. Hope you all are going to enjoy our story this evening. It is definitely on the interesting side. As I was saying, as my old player Bird knows, whenever I have a beer before the session, it means I've written the TPK. So, but hopefully we'll avoid that. For those of you who've not come to our station before, we do run it 100% for charity. The charity that we are supporting is Satchel's Last Chance Resort, which is where I got my good puppers, Lunar, and they are an amazing organization. So far, we've raised almost $500 between subscriptions and donations. So thank you so much. And we will be donating that at the end of the campaign to let you all know how much we have raised over the course of this 8-week campaign mini adventure that we're doing. So, without further ado, I think we'll go around and let our players introduce themselves and who they're playing, and we will get right into it. First up is Sharang.
So I'm Sharang Biswas. I'm a game designer, writer, and what else am I? Interactive theater maker. I do a lot of things, and I am playing Jad, who is a Dhampir bard of the College of Spirits, and he is very hot.
And we will go ahead and do the plug. You have a Kickstarter out.
Yes, so I'm on the design team for the Avatar Legends, which is the Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra official role-playing game for Magpie Games. The Kickstarter launched today. Check it out. There are a bunch of really well-known and cool designers involved, like my friend Julian Yansu Davis and Daniel Kwan, who you might know from the Asians Represent podcast, the Age podcast, and like Senfu Lim, and great team. Check it out, support it. Indie RPGs are amazing. Support indie RPGs. Woo! Thank you, Jay.
Sweet. Next up, we have Anita.
Hi, I'm Anita, and tonight I am playing Elspeth Carter, the Divine Soul Sorceress. And just so you know, Sharang, that Kickstarter is almost at $1 million.
Because I'm handsome and my face is on it.
Heck yeah.
There you go. You might notice that we do not have Don this evening, but that's part of our story, so we'll be getting into that very shortly. Next up, we have Carl.
Yep. I have no Kickstarter, and my name's Carl Nelson, and I will be playing Barzul, the recently gargoyle barbarian.
And last but not least, we have Bird.
Hey, I'm Bird. I'm going to be playing Tamarind, our gnomish little warlock with a hollowed patron who is both new to adventuring and friends. So we'll see how this goes.
Sweet. I am Tall Squall. I am your DM. I can't wait to hop into this story, and really looking forward to trying out a couple new things tonight, which hopefully won't kill the party. So, without further ado, let's hop back into our story of The Hollowed.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
A mechanics thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have we, and if the answer is no, that's fine, had a short rest?
We will be jumping into that here in just a second.
Thank you.
So, just to set our scene from where we left off, our group had stopped along this roadside after having left the refuge where they had been staying, where there had been this brutal attack. Through their heroic efforts and actually very quick thinking, what could have been a massacre of most everyone there ended up to a lot of people sleeping and and not dying, which is a wonderful thing. But fleeing and after Elspeth, who had learned that some of the officials from Falconspire might be coming to the encampment the next morning, and she did not want them to find her. The party left this sort of place of refuge and headed out back into the road that heads to Falconspire, but also passes out through the battlegrounds and the sylvan wastelands that this long war between the humans and the elves has taken place, arcane war over the last 400 years. They had traveled for about 4 or 5 hours until right as we were starting to get to dusk. Well, hadn't quite gotten dark yet. And the party split there by the roadside. This area, basically to the left-hand side, the road's slightly inclining upwards in the direction they are going. To the left, sort of a steep drop-off of scree and loose gravel that leads down about 20 or 30 feet to the sort of ragged edges of these battlefields in the wastelands. This area hasn't seen battle in years, decades even, but there's still the remnants of and the scars of the war here, both arcane and natural, with battlements and rubble and debris and fortifications that have been destroyed. Sort of to the right side of the road is mainly rock, boulders, and large rock falls from down on the high perches of the Falconspire Plateau, which rises almost 6,000 feet above them. They were trying to find a place to camp for the evening, someplace safe, someplace where they could have a fire and not be seen, to be warned, to get a rest, all of them having had this combat and needing a chance to catch their breath. Rakesh, who is a veteran scout from the Elvish army, went on ahead while the party sort of caught their breath and waited for him to report back. In order to not take any agency away from you all specifically had mentioned wanting to take a moment to rest. So I think about an hour passes, giving you all a short rest, before you start to recognize that Rakesh has not returned. The sun has now dipped below the horizon, not quite full darkness, but certainly twilight gloaming over the field. Some of the glowing arcane residue out from the wasteland is beginning to become more evident. You can see sort of almost this dim sort of blues and greens and red hot glow from beneath the sort of this wasteland crust out there across the battlefields. You all have taken shelter sort of in what's left of a much larger structure where just the corner remains maybe 10 foot by 10 foot, 2 walls that are just shelter you a little bit, but not in any real way, open to the sky, and in fact even barely obscured from the road itself if someone were to come along. So, with that, I'm going to look to y'all about how long you would wait, what you want to do, any conversations you might have had over the course of this hour.
So as we're waiting, I'm getting very jittery because this is like my person. Like I'm here because of this person. And when I get nervous, that's not a good sign for anyone, because an easy way to combat nervousness is to have something to eat. So to try and distract myself, I'm like, let me tell you a story. This reminds me of a time, and I'm doing this more to just like distract myself. So I actually don't have a story planned. But I'm using my inspiring leader trait, feat, and I start telling you a story about, and it's just coming out of me. I don't know where it's coming from. I start telling you about a story about, oh yes, there was like a mind flare, and this like wizard like gutted it and like turned its guts into like this like garland, and like it looked really lovely on his like birthday, and it's this kind of gruesome story. But for some reason, thinking of this extra horrific thing distracts you from the like real horror that could be happening to our teammate. Because you're like, whoa, it can't be that bad, right? I mean, I don't even know what a mind flare is, but I know the story about it. And so everyone gets 8 temporary hit points. which is my inspiring leader feat. And because I'm a bard, you also, if you rolled any healing dice, can add a 1d6 to that.
Nice. I love it. I love the idea that it's so horrific that that you forget the horror in your own lives.
I will just say that Tamron is enraptured by this, but is probably still not quite understanding all of these things. Definitely does not know what a mind flayer is either. So there's probably some moments where you react in a certain way, and just in his brain is like, oh, maybe this is supposed to be funny, and he will let out this very loud,
I'm gonna say,
just trying to like process how to interact with somebody.
I love that. So I'm a Dhampir, which I have an extra long, slightly longer than normal tongue, right? And so I like use the tongue to like be like a mind flare tentacle thing. I'm like, ah, it's like I'm like face miming the mind flare. I'm telling the story, and the thing is, I don't know where the story is coming from. So when I finish the story, I'm like a little startled, like where did that come from? And then for a brief instant, I hear that strange high, like cold voice in my head, which is like, it was a good necklace. And I'm just like shake it off, like, nope, something to think about another time. File away.
Okay. Anyone else, either during this story or during this rest, of anything, conversations you have or anything you might be doing, and again, sort of be thinking about how long you all would wait before even mentioning or taking action?
Pretty early into us settling in, Tamron is just gonna kind of look around. I guess not really like aim this at any individual person in particular, but just kind of like pause it to the group, basically being like, back there, that woman who kind of caused the whole ruckus, she had some sort of weird thing on her, and it kind of seems like maybe that was the source of the bad. What she can do? Oh, go ahead.
Stulz. Yeah. It's not the first time I've seen it.
I've seen something like that in a village before. There was a person who turned into that and wiped out the whole village.
Okay, so this is gonna maybe be a little awkward. What she can do, I think I can kind of do too. And stick with me, it's gonna get worse before it gets any better. There are times when we would go out into the marsh, and sometimes there'd be a critter or a bug that would hitch a ride on you uninvited, and you'd have to look around for it. And I've looked, and I haven't found anything like the crystal on me, but I can only bend and turn so many ways. Would somebody help me make sure I don't have that, or if I do, we at least know about it?
I'm a healer, so I can look at you from like a medical standpoint.
I can taste your blood.
That's a little bit more off-putting.
Can I do the first one, please? So yeah, like he does not know where his powers come from, and this is the only thing so far that's made any connection. I guess Jay, I'm not aware as a player of me having that on me. Do I? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe you should have someone check it out.
Okay, cool. Well, then if anyone is willing to, I would be very appreciated. Thank you.
Elspeth is going to do like just sort of a once over on Tamron, sort of turning him around. It's like, can I get you to take your shirt off, please? I'm just going to make sure there's nothing under there. Like, we're going to try and be proper about this, but do you want some privacy?
Before you.
Do you have any open wounds, Tamron?
No, I didn't get hurt. I'm fine, actually. I'm very surprisingly fine. That was my first fight where I actually did anything besides get punched. So I'm good.
Okay.
Elspeth, if you'll do me a medicine check.
Absolutely.
And I'm absolutely eyeing you, Tamarind, as you're like taking your shirt off. But you realize it's not. I mean, maybe you've been eyed by people who fancy you before. You realize it's more hungry than like someone who fancies you.
That tracks.
Medicine is and with the healer feat, I believe I have proficiency, so that would be a total of 18.
Ooh.
On an 18, you sort of examine Tamarind and look under his shirt, etc. You don't see any crystal, but it's strange. You see, in a weird way, to even remind you of the tree, what looks like a handprint, but it looks like frost, and even though it would be a full hand, it's as though 2 fingers have been cut off, and so you only see like a full palm, but with 3 fingers, and it's almost like the skin's just a little bit shinier, and it's very difficult. If it weren't for your medical training, you wouldn't notice sort of the difference in his gray, sort of stony skin, this sort of bark-like texture that it has, almost scaly, thickened areas. If it weren't for that high of a roll, you wouldn't have noticed it.
You've got.
It's
Did you always have this mark?
What's it look like? Is it kind of like a funky tree?
Kind of like a hand with 3 fingers missing.
No, that sounds completely new and different.
I mean, I saw the freckles. They kind of look like a
like a little
constellation.
tree. Yeah,
Yeah, like a little tree.
Yeah, but no, the weird hand on me is definitely news to me. And maybe that's something bad or good. I don't know. You seem good at this. What do you think?
Well, I might have seen that mark before.
Was it good for the thing it was on?
It was on one of the trees back at the encampment.
One
Of
of
the
the ones that
living
shriveled
trees
and
or the
died?
dead trees? Yeah.
The one that's dying, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't
Okay.
mean that you're dying. You've lasted this long. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're doomed.
Okay. That sounds half good. At least mostly. Okay. Well, thank you.
I
keep
put a
this in
hand on your shoulder, and then as soon as I do, I take my hand off your shoulder. I'm like, nope, I mustn't touch bare flesh in this state. And I'm like, are you feeling particularly murderous right now? You can tell me. I know the feeling very well.
I've witnessed and you're very good at it. I do want to make that clear.
And I give you a very toothy, very handsome grin.
No, not now. Just in the moments where the bad things are happening, something kind of just whoop up in here and takes over, and that's when I feel like I can do something. When I can make a difference. When I can have power. Right now, I'm just Tamarind. Tamarind doesn't feel like killing anything at all ever.
I turn and look at the giant hulking gargoyle, and I'm like, we're not very normal adventuring companions, are we?
No. Not at all.
And I'm like,
I do not
Tamarind.
travel with people very often.
And I nod. And I turn to him like, Tamarind, if you feel murderous and you feel that directed towards us, let me know. And if you like, I will eat you.
I
don't know if that is wise.
Okay, I thought I had to say yes to that. Thank you.
You don't have to say yes to anything you don't want to do.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. I do. Thank you. I do appreciate the offer. And we can revisit this later if we need to. But for
And
now,
I grin again.
okay. And Tamarind just kind of shuffles slightly towards Elspeth and Barzul.
You can stay close. It's okay. I When did Rakesh say he was going to be back?
Going to say it's been a while.
Yeah. Should we maybe go looking? I don't think he would have been gone this long if he had actually found the thing he was looking for. It couldn't have been that far away. Something sort of safe off the road.
He seems like a very honorable person, so he wouldn't have just left us.
I definitely agree with that.
Should we just go looking for him? Is that wise?
I don't think we should send anyone alone. We go together.
Definitely. Though Rakesh knew we were going to be here, so...
You leave him a message here?
Yes. Excellent idea. Elspeth is going to pull a scrap of fabric, I think just off the edge of the skirt, tie it to a stick, or just like a little tree branch that's off the road.
Yep.
So which direction do we want to go?
Who's our best tracker out of character? Who's our best tracker? Probably our gnome, right? Oh, our gargoyle?
Definitely.
Okay, so if we're gonna go, and I know that we're gonna start, how tall is Barzul?
8.
Like 8 something.
So
Yeah.
I'm like 6 feet ish. So I'm like 2. So I probably reached to your like shoulder or something, right?
Yeah, probably just below.
So I'm gonna beckon to your face, like bring your face down. And
sort of crouch a little bit, and like you can the the sort of breath that comes out and this like huff is a little like dusty, and like it's like there's clearly like this is a creature of stone. It has that like dry, and it's like this like
I love that. I'm gonna say I have, because you all know me by now, I have stopped myself. I've stopped forcing myself to have a heartbeat or a breath while around you, because I don't need to anymore. So I like kind of get a whiff of that, and then when your ear is level with my face, you think I'm playing a prank or something. I like blow in your ear, but then you're like, "What are you doing?" But then you feel something wriggle in your ear, and you notice that my lips are bloody because I just blew blood into your ear. Because I have a class
strangest
feature.
thing that's probably happened to
Right.
Target.
You've been alive many years. And you feel something like this thing wriggling in your ear, because I have a class feature where I can cast guidance at will, and my range is like 120 feet or something. So I just cast guidance on you, because I know that my passing vampiric blood into others briefly will like awaken their senses. And I'm like, there, I hope you feel good. I pat you awkwardly on the like elbow.
I think when you like blow, like there's just like a slight grimace and no reaction otherwise. Like
The fact that there's no reaction is more unsettling than it would be if there was one. Like,
but it does look like you're bleeding slightly from the ear, which is weird because you don't have blood anymore.
Yeah. I think at that, Barzul is going to recall which direction Rakesh went off in, and almost a little bit more like a giant hound gets down on all fours and to sort of like pick up the trail as he goes.
Nice.
And when we figure out the exact direction we're going, Elspeth is going to tie the piece of fabric pointing in the direction on a branch that's pointing in the direction that we're going.
Perfect.
Nice.
So, I actually am going to let everyone roll a either perception or survival check, whichever you prefer, because if you recall from last time, you're up against Rakish's stealth roll. Y'all were like, "Oh wow, how did something find him?" That's not who this was going to pertain to.
Lol. And Carl, you get a D4 bonus from my blood in your ear.
Nice.
17 survival.
Nice. Welcome, Raiders.
Yeah. Welcome, Raiders. Cox.
I got a 4 survival because I'm too busy anxious about our
Hey.
teammate.
4 gang.
Or maybe I'm just I'm looking at you and wondering about you the whole time.
22.
So, Barzul on a 22. Rakish is good. There's no doubt about it. He was trained by elven scouts, and his own natural affinity for the wild helps him immensely. But it takes a little bit of time. It takes some effort. It's not like you have his exact trail. So you lose it a couple times and have to regain it, but you do eventually find his trail, and it heads sort of up the road, the direction you sort of all remember seeing him like take 2 steps in before he completely vanished from sight. So you all can head up that direction. It would be about 20 minutes later up the road. Just for first thing, marching order. And are you all going at normal speed, or are you all trying to be stealthy in your maneuvers as well?
I would have asked Barzul because he's the tracking lead. So his decision.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'd be the same thing here. This is my first foray into this, so I see giant hulking gargoyle man. I think, okay, cool. Let's just.
Yeah, I think this is where some of Thargan's training kicks in. And he's a little frustrated by like the new senses and feels like a little stunted in this way. Like normally he would have no problem doing something like this. And even with someone so skilled, and he's just occasionally every time he loses it, he just and he's going slowly, so he is not rushing it. So I would say like probably keeping some level of subtlety, but he's an 8.5 foot tall gargoyle.
Yeah.
He does have proficiency in stealth.
Yeah.
However,
Because you're camo.
Well, and that's the thing. So it's an interesting thing with Barzul, depending on what the situation is of whether he has disadvantage against on stealth or not. Sometimes he'll have advantage. Other times it'll be that he'll have disadvantage. In this case, I wanted to do a group stealth check. And I think we're going to go ahead and have Barzul's be an even check as it's getting into nighttime. There are the cliffs close by, but you are a loud, big gargoyle who's getting a little frustrated every once in a while. So I think we're going to call it even on this one. So just a group stealth check, please.
Seven for me.
12.
Oh, my stealth is not. The good thing is I have the +1 for my bard thing, but still. Another 4.
Woo!
16.
16. And Tamarin.
12.
So we had it was a 7, a 4, a 16, and a 12.
Yeah.
I'm mostly just small. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, am I the stealthiest? I have no dex.
I'm just really hot, so it's hard to hide anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
I just draw
frustrated.
eyes.
the
I
night,
just draw
the
eyes.
night
growling every,
creatures
like-
just draw all the eyes. I mean, on
I
that
also
note,
do
I
love,
do think.
I mean, just truly your personality is like, okay, Jad, we gotta be quiet, okay? Yeah. Oh, it's hot today. Just immediately losing it.
I think as far as marching order, Elspeth is at the back of the pack.
Yeah. I assume
and Cameron-
Barzul's taking the lead, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be behind Barzul because my walking pace is so normally fast. It would be very irritating for me to be at the back.
Gotcha. So, what would have taken probably 20 minutes or so takes you more like half an hour to maneuver up the road. You absolutely flush out groups of small nighttime animals as they're bedding down and make a huge huge noise as they bats fly off into the night. Jad might have grabbed a rat along the way, and it squeaked as he was picking it up to have a snack.
I'm hungry.
Bored on the trail, but in your meandering way, you do finally make it a ways up where the road turns just a little bit to the north, and you see over on the right-hand side, sort of up against the rocks and the rock face, see a squat military fortification. It's about 2 stories tall, with probably some sort of rooftop battlements. You can see sort of the crenellations where people might have stationed, or the archers or something along those lines. The whole right side of this 2-story structure seems to have been completely crushed by a rock fall that's just completely crushed it and buried it. But the left side does seem relatively intact. Setbacks for this front structure, you can make out a tall tower that's sort of built right up against this rock face. It rises up 60 or 70 feet above even the roof of this 2-story structure and these fortifications. You can see, even in this sort of fading light as we move into darkness, that there is a threshold, a doorway in the center of the remaining structure on the left-hand side of the fortifications. You can barely make out there's a door that seems to be somewhat knocked off of its hinges. Did anyone use survival as their check? So all of you, as you spot this, you could see that this probably would have caught Rakish's eye as a safe place to camp. You could have made a campfire inside. That this would be a place that would make a good refuge and camping spot for the evening to find safe haven and a place for warmth and shelter through the night. Y'all are probably about, we'll say 90, 100 feet away from it when you first spot it.
Could I? Sorry.
I think
Is it dark
Barzul,
outside?
we'll sort of like raise a hand to stop everyone as well as we sort of like crouch in.
Can I smell or hear anything from inside?
Do me a perception check with advantage because it's a smell check.
Yay, smell check!
Also, to check on Elspeth's question, like how dark is it outside?
Yeah.
It is getting dark. For those people without night vision, you are pretty much going to soon be in total darkness. Little bit of moonlight tonight, but not a lot.
19 perception.
19. The reason you had advantage on this is because almost instantly, because of your connection and your being attracted to the smell of Rakish, you can smell Rakish's fresh spilled blood from coming from inside that
Nice.
shelter.
So remember, my body remembers Rakish, right?
Yeah.
Even though my mind doesn't. So I Barzul, when you put your hand up to stop and you turn, you visibly see me like shudder, which, I literally just ate. I ate this annoying rat, right? I shudder and I look at you guys and I'm like, that was Rakish's blood in there. And not inside his blood. It smells different when it reacts with oxygen.
So then what do we do?
Is there anything else in there, or is it just the
I
blood?
honestly, my senses are a little bit overwhelmed by Rakish's blood right now. It's very intoxicating.
As we were approaching, was there any sign of anything else coming into this space?
Roll me a perception check for anyone who would like to look around as you are Jad sniffing the air.
9.
9.
Seems clear.
1.
Yes!
Oh,
Wait, Elsbeth sees something. Oh, wait, maybe not.
It's also dark outside, so I should
Yeah, it's
probably
pretty
be
dark.
rolling with disadvantage, but a 1 is a 1.
Yeah, one is a one.
It's pretty dark.
And the structure, just to remind me, the like,
So
what's
it's
the
about-
sort of surrounding?
So
terrain,
it
right?
basically is, I mean, it would be a normal sort of stronghold or fortification. It's built up against this sort of big, tall wall of rock. It does have a clear vantage point to the road. You can see that basically anyone coming down the road, as they turn the corner, it would be an incredible ambush spot for any type of ballista or archers up on the roof here, and then also would be incredibly defensible because you can really only approach it from the front. To either side of it, well, one side's crushed by this rockfall, just huge boulders and rockfall has crushed a whole side of it. I mean, a 2-story building that's just been turned to mush on one side. The other side, again, fairly intact, but the way that it's set back in there, there's a little bit of space there, but I mean, it's really pretty much been built to utilize the strategic nature of the rock formation in this area. There is the tall tower sort of set all the way behind it, sort of, you know, but the 2-story structure sort of blocks any access that you can see from this far away to the tower.
So I can very easily climb the tower. And I know that these three have seen me do that kind of thing when my knees like buckle and bend back. So I say I could climb if did you guys see anything inside?
I mean, y'all are 100 feet away still.
Oh, very much away. But if we approach, I could like climb and see what's going on.
Yeah, you would have to find how to get around any of the walls of the tower from where you are right now, but certainly
Right.
possible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean
We're
into this
100
real
feet away?
quick. Oh, go ahead.
We're 100 feet away?
About 100 feet away, yeah.
I just
I'll
want to lean
stay-
into this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no,
I
keep going.
I keep interrupting you. I feel so
good.
bad.
You're
I just
good.
want to. This is short. I just wanted to
Do it.
kind of see where this goes. Tamarind is gonna turn to, and you don't have to have the answer. In fact, I hope you don't. But Tamarind is gonna turn to Barzul and be like, Barzul, this is kind of your area. This is where you're from. Do you know what this place is, or what it was used for?
Oh.
So Barzul has been to the refuge below. He had not been this high up before, right?
Correct. Yeah, about as deep as you would have gone into human territory would have been, again, to pretty much pluck bounties. Usually, you would try to get them before they got to the refuge you were at last night, or earlier today.
Barzul will just shake his head and scowl a little bit.
What?
Well, I could. We're about 100 feet away. I could send something in there, and that way, if anything is in there, we would be able to see it.
The other thing to note is that I believe that most of you, and I look at Barzul for a sec, cannot survive with a large quantity of blood not in your body for this amount of time.
Not generally, no.
So we might want to be fast.
Barzul's going to look at Elspeth and ask, "You have a familiar?"
No. But I can send a light in there so it would illuminate anything that's in there.
That would give anything away that something is coming.
It would. But we could hide off to the side a little bit, and I could send it from a fair ways away. And it would alert that something's outside, but it all depends on if it would see us.
You might also draw them outside.
We might also draw them outside.
Then one of us can slip in and
Unnoticed.
save our comrade.
If that's the idea.
Let's
think-
do it.
It's 120-foot range on dancing lights.
All
And I can make a little person made of light.
right, yes, you can.
True. Barzul will, before this happens, remember what he has wings.
Yep. You sure
Sure
do?
do.
All right, Barzul can fly.
And sort of crouch down, will sort of like like roll his shoulders and wings, and you can also get on the roof, get on the tower.
And then approach from above, go down.
And I tell him, like,
Maybe.
Barzul, if you let me mount you, I say very explicitly,
Eyes narrow.
I can and take me to the roof, then I can maneuver very easily on the roof with you. And it might be better to have two people there. I'm very good at mounting.
As long as I'm as far away from, if action starts, as long as I'm as far away from as possible, I'm better than I am up close, as you can all clearly recall.
Perhaps we fly to the roof. Elspeth, you bring your lights out. See if lures something out. The two of you stay low.
How tall is the tower?
The tower is, from ground level, is almost 90 feet tall, but the roof, sort of where the crenellations are, that sort of stuff, it's 20 feet up. I mean, it's 2 stories. It'd be the top of a 2-story flat-topped sort of building. So, I mean, truly, one flap and a heroic leap with you being 8 feet tall. So certainly also with your skill at flying, because there would absolutely be a check of you flying, carrying people.
Yeah, if you let me mount you, I would again blow into your ear.
And I will carry you.
So you get a D4 in your next skill check. If you carry rather than me on your back, I like perform.
The wings
this,
are
like,
on my back.
Oh right, they're back wings. So if you carry me in your arms, I absolutely do this like swooning damsel in distress pose, just cause I'm just like, oh, carry me, Barzul.
Are we doing this?
I'm like, yes, we're flying, are we not? Carry me, Barzul.
And then Elspeth is going to go off to the side behind some rocks, if possible. And once there is a signal of some description.
I think so. Barzul has large, like jointed feet, and is just gonna get Jad by the like scoop Jad up by the shoulders with the feet.
Not as romantic as I was hoping. Actually, say not as romantic as I was hoping, but it does the job. I get an upward view now.
Just don't.
Yeah, it's true.
But I cast guidance on you, so
okay. Yeah,
so I blew
so
into your ear again.
I think Barzul will. I think first we will approach and then fly.
Okay, so Barzul and Jad are approaching, getting closer to the door. So as you get closer, so how close are you going to get to this doorway before?
60 feet, enough for me to take a round to grab and fly.
Gotcha.
Pythagorean theorem. What is your fly distance diagonally towards the top of the
About 50 feet.
Okay.
50 by 20, it's about 60.
Yeah. So as you get closer, Jad, with your 19 on your smell check, you absolutely, as you get closer, smell a second humanoid. You're a vampire. You're good. You smell a human's blood.
I'm like spilled blood.
Again, yes, spilled blood.
I tap on Barzul's thigh and I whisper up to him.
Are we flying yet, or?
I was saying as you walk closer, just as
okay.
He was 100 feet away, so he was just catching. It was because it was Rakisha's blood, but as he gets closer, he's a hungry vampire.
Yeah, so I think as we're still sort of approaching, you don't have to. I've not started carrying you yet.
Right. Yeah. So I would tap on your rib cage, I guess, then, and then I'd tell you, there's another person spilled blood nearby in the
building.
In the structure.
Coming, it's sort of wafting out from it, from the doorway.
Yeah. So I do that, and then how far are you two from me, you guys?
If you moved up 60 feet away at the tower that means you would be 40 feet away from us currently.
Yeah.
Great. In which case, you hear my voice in your head telling you that as well as I cast the message spell. which I do by I have to bite my lip and let the blood drip down a bit in order to cast the message spell.
Okay.
It's a very pokey spell.
Okay, be careful. I'll reply to the message.
And I grin and I mime thumping Barzul on the back encouragingly, but I don't do it because that would be noisy.
And then as the minute because I would probably maybe see their silhouette.
Oh yeah, Barzul's hard to miss.
Barzul's hard to miss. But the minute I see it go up, then I will cast the dancing lights, all 4 of them making the shape of a humanoid form in the doorway.
Gotcha.
Right, yeah. So as we approach, I will actually, since we're probably walking, I will just scoop Jad up with an arm and leap and wings as I take 2 heavy sort of wing strokes up to the revelation.
Okay.
If any of our fans draw this scene for us of me being grabbed and taken away by this sexy gargoyle, I will write you a custom short story. Absolutely.
Love it. So, Barzul, you still are flying with someone. You've only had wings for 4 hours. So give me a dexterity. I think it's a check.
Oh,
And you get a D4. You get a D4.
not even athletics. Oh.
No, at this point, it's how to make these wings do what they need to do to get you off the ground.
Cool. So I rolled a 2 on the D4. Unfortunately, I also rolled a 2 on the D4.
Oh no! So for a 4 total, this is
No. It's a 3 total.
oh,
Because it's a -1.
because a -1. Oh no! So for a 3 total on your roll, yeah, wings. They're tough, man. And the reality is, let's face it, a gargoyle made a 2,500 pound gargoyle made out of stone with wings that, I mean, probably, each wing's, 16-foot wingspan. Let's say, each wing's about 8 feet. But there's obviously some sort of technique or magic or something that occurs to help actually make flight happen for you.
Yeah.
You don't quite have the knack of it yet. Roll me a d20 and call me higher, or actually call me higher or low. I'm gonna roll a d20.
All right. Well, odds high, evens low. Low.
So you're going low? Okay, I rolled a 12. So as you go flying up, you think you've got the lift. You think that this is going to happen. You weigh
Jad into the wall.
Doosh. I mean, Scooby-Doo it. Jad, luckily, just the way he's positioned, sort of goes between 2 crenellations, but you just slam right into it. I need Jad to make me a dexterity saving throw as you basically get thrown through the crenellation out of Barzul's hands and are tumbling across the rooftop.
Could I say, because I have spider climb, I get advantage on this? Or something like that?
You're not really climbing. This is
Momentum.
Certainly this gargoyle knows how to fly, right? And then suddenly, dude, you were totally flirting with him. You didn't see this coming.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was gonna say, actually, you're lucky I'm not giving you disadvantage.
Yeah, I was being theatrical. Okay, love it. Okay, so this is a dexterity saving throw?
Dexterity saving.
Okay. So save. Oh, I'll just do this then because I have a thingy on it, dot on it. I don't know what that means. I got a 5.
So you take
just
3
yeet.
points of bludgeoning damage as you just sort of tumble across the rooftop. Elspeth, you cast when they lifted off, not when they got to the roof, right?
Probably.
I cast the minute that I saw it go up,
Okay.
and I cast it in front of the.
So like
door.
a spotlight, as this small grouping of lights makes this creature, suddenly what might have been masked by darkness
Yep.
is absolutely full display of Barzul smacking into the side of it, Jad tumbling ass over tea kettle through the thing, and now it's as though someone had turned on the spotlight at the used car sales sign.
Wow.
Up at you guys. Barzul, you can just do me. You can do me a athletics check at advantage because you are very strong that you actually catch yourself and don't fall back to the ground.
Also, gotta love those temp hit points, you guys.
22.
22. Yeah,
Nice.
you have no problem holding on, but yeah, you're. Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm going to tear like a chunk of stone off and just like hold it angrily for a moment.
Angry rock
Slowly.
holding.
Angry rock holding. Yes.
Grinding it.
So you find
So-
your. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, where am I? Yeah.
What do we see
You
now
are
that we've
basically
crashed
you're up
into-
on this rooftop. You didn't fall off the other side or anything.
Okay,
This
perfect. I'm
rooftop's
like-
about. I mean, it's about 25 feet wide. No,
Okay.
probably more like 40 feet wide.
And it's not that kind of.
No. It's a flat roof. It had crenellations on it. It's basically where you would put archers
Right.
or ballistas.
Perfect.
There doesn't seem to be any leftover equipment up here, but there does. It obviously was a place for defenders to be able to come and shoot down arrows, magic spells, whatever, down on anyone who was on the road.
So I'm just a little winded. I don't get bruised because I don't have blood flowing to
Yeah.
my skin, but I'm a little winded, being like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Are there any exits down or into tower?
You do see, the tower isn't actually connected. As you get up here, you see that the tower isn't actually connected to this building directly. There's like a gap between the two, but you do see a doorway over to your left, which just, it's a, it looks almost like what would be a stairwell doorway. It's kind of just a small little, yeah, exactly.
And were there any windows on this floor or the floor below us?
On the floor below you, there were this, like, again, archer slits. I mean, it's
Oh,
those
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
murder
yes.
hole type ideas.
Could
This was definitely a defense position.
Can I, when I pick myself up, I'm not badly hurt.
No.
Can I pick myself up and climb? I have spider climb, so just like, and then try and peer into the murder holes and the
Absolutely.
archer holes.
Yep.
Yeah. We just made a lot of noise. I think Barzul
A lot
is
of
like
light, a lot of noise. Yeah.
A lot of light,
on-
a lot of noise.
perched
No
on the
one's
edge
actually.
and is gonna like take a few steps over the door and just like hold the stone up in case anything comes out.
Okay. Whole new definition of murder hole.
Rakesh
yeah,
and
so
his new
just-
injured friend walk out the door when suddenly.
Yeah.
So as a quick note,
Oh, Rakesh.
my climbing speed is equal to my walking speed, and because I'm a certain level, I can move up, down, and across vertical surfaces and upside down while leaving my hands free.
Yep.
So I'm like very good at scaling. Yeah.
So Barzul takes position. It is kind of a creepy thing from Tamron and Elspeth's point of view. You have this gargoyle uplit by this glowing
man.
dancing lights with this giant rock. There's a weird little sort of trail of blood down his ear from earlier tonight from Jad. You can describe to us the expression on your face after your encounter with the wall.
Me or Barzul?
Barzul.
I think if you could see it, considering he's pretty far away,
Yeah.
like if a stone statue could be flustered,
Love it.
yeah, I don't know what that looks like, but
Okay. So, Barzul, yep, you stand there. Jad, easily, no problem. I mean, with your speed, I mean, this only takes moments for you to basically scurry over the wall in this sort of creepy way. Again, this whole sort of view from Elspeth and Tamron. You first had the gargoyle, and now you have Jad creepy backwards joints creeping down the wall, peeking into these murder holes. With the light and with your dark vision, not an issue at all. This second floor that you look in on through these murder holes just seems to be an empty level. You don't see anybody or anything. And in fact, even as you look in the murder hole, you do not smell the blood nearly as like you sticking your face in there. It almost cuts off the smell of the blood that on this floor of Rakesh and this other human.
I'm probably too far from the others downstairs, but I bite my lip again, and I send a message to Barzul that this floor is empty, and I don't think our friends are there. I do that in 25 words or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I claim that's it's a cantrip. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna say you're close enough you could talk to him, but yeah, if it's a cantrip, might as well.
Yeah, I don't want to make noise. That's
gotcha.
Fine,
Oh yeah, because you definitely don't want to make any noise at this point.
Did Elspeth's light reveal anything to us on the ground here?
Just this door. That's the doorway. I mean, you now can really see what's going on in the doorway. Basically, the door has been it's sort of hanging diagonally in the space. I mean, certainly there's holes over and under. You can see light shining inside. But you don't see, from your distance through a sort of obscured doorway, you can't really make out the inside from 100 feet away.
Okay, then Tamron at least is going to probably a little overwhelmed by how great that plan just went on. He's probably very worried about like what's going on inside, especially hearing that Rakesh is injured. So he's not like full on sprinting towards the door, but I think he's doing kind of a hunched kind of scurry to get at least a little bit closer. Huh?
Little Naruto run?
Yeah. Do
A very little one.
Very little. I would say basically in the time it took Barzul to sort of take up his position, Jad to go inspect these, you could make it all the way up to the door if you'd like to, or stop wherever you want to.
Yeah, maybe like 20 feet away or something like that, just to like try to get an angle and look, get some sort of view.
So roll me a perception check.
That is a 12.
On a 12, you can sort of look in. You can't make out a lot of details from here. Let's see, 20 feet away. On a 12, yeah, I mean, you can see that it opens into an interior space, but you don't get a whole lot more of detail. This door is just kind of obscuring any more detail that you might want to see, and also your height, because this bottom, there's just like 3 steps up, so you're just not quite getting the perspective that you would like to have gotten.
I think with all of the lights and commotion and noise and a creepy man spider climbing up the side of the building.
A creepy handsome man.
A creepy handsome man creeping up the side of a building with backwards joints. Something would have noticed us by now. And I think Elspeth's just going to look around and see if there's any movement up above in the rocks above the...
Ooh, good call. Actually, with the light, because it gives off bright light for 60 or bright light for 30?
It's dancing lights is not bright. It is with whichever form you choose, each sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius.
Okay, so it's candlelight. So yeah, this is going to be for you as a human, because of the nighttime. Looking up at the rocks is not really going to get hit by this light at all. So,
I think I can also move it up.
You can, if you'd like to go ahead and move. If you'd like to like spread them out and try to light up the rocks, you're welcome to do that. Okay,
that's the plan. I think
and
I'm
then
going to set it spiraling upwards.
Yep, that way it will be a normal perception check.
Okay. That is a 19.
Ooh, on a 19. You are fairly sure, and because the way the lights are moving around, you would have caught someone's movement, or where you're fairly sure you're alone in this general space.
Okay. And I think at that point, Elspeth's just going to walk up to the door.
Okay. All the way up to the door?
Yep.
So I'll leave you with that perception check. You're able to sort of look through this door, and you see it's about a sort of one-story square room, about 20 feet across, continuation of the stone walls. The floor, though, does appear to be wooden. On the sort of left-hand back corner of this room, you can make out a door, and then also on the right side, sort of in the middle of the wall, you can make out another door. The biggest thing that you see is right in the middle of the room. There is about a 5 foot, barely 5 foot in diameter hole where the floor has given away.
Ask it. Oh no.
No, you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm back. Okay, sorry. So just I'm confused. So we have the tower, we have our building. How many stories is the building that we're on?
2. You've been looking into the second floor. Elspeth
And
just looked into the first
So I can
floor.
see Elspeth looking on the first floor.
Yeah,
Okay, and the
Barzul would
tower.
also have seen her straight down.
Perfect. And the tower is how many floors?
Like 10.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a very
like
tall
a
tower.
big keep kind of thing.
No, but I mean, it's actually a very tall, just sort of slender tower. I mean, it's
Oh.
it's sort of it's a very Rapunzel-esque type tower. I mean, it's not a giant
Okay.
tower. It's just this sort of vertical. Do me a never mind. You've only been alive for 4 months, but Barzul,
Unless you think I have a memory, but yeah.
not in this case. Actually, I'm gonna have Barzul do me a. You can do either intelligence or if you've got history.
That's
I'll actually
I
give you
have-
history with
I
advantage.
have proficiency in history. I will let you know.
There you go.
I've been alive for 450 years.
This is what we're calling on. So it absolutely give me that history roll with advantage.
You don't just have history. You have lived history. You are history. Oh, that's a great reaction. Though. It's a great reaction.
So I avoided a natural 1.
Well, that's good.
With
However,
a natural 3.
um,
With a 5.
believe it or
Barzul
not,
is very disoriented.
you're disoriented, but I think it's sort of one of those. It takes you a second to be just like, I think there's a frustration. You're thinking more about flying. If any
I'd
thought of
smash
flying to
something.
the top of that kind of distracts you of what the hell that tower is. But it does after a moment, after a beat or two, it comes to you. In a this type of a situation, it's a lookout tower. It's a very tall
That's what I
lookout
figured,
tower,
yeah.
so that they can have someone posted up there to see who might be coming. That probably has a better vantage point, both up and down the road from up there, to be able to basically ambush anyone, and you'll have forewarning of anyone coming along the road. But it's not a castle. It's literally just a tower. It is stone, sort of round tower. Like I said, imagine a Rapunzel tower about 100 feet tall. And it's set back from this building about 50 feet from the back wall. So, Elspeth, you were in the doorway and saw all this. What we're going to sort of pass to you as we've got Jad looking at the second floor, Barzul sort of holding guard, ready to drop a stone on your head, Elspeth, and
Look up. Do you mind?
And I grin at you, and I'm like, well, I'm confused. I have no idea what you want me to do.
I think I look. It's up. I'm looking up at Barzul, who is holding a rock over my head.
Oh,
You mind?
And we'll just, like,
With all that
over-
noise and the lights and
and we'll
that,
just jump and like
they
land
would
next
have
to
already
Elspeth.
heard us and killed us by now. I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think Barzul is just gonna huck it over his shoulder and like leap and like attempt to glide. Like maybe that's easier down to land next to Elspeth.
I'll give you a glide without rolling for you. It's more of a parachute, but yeah.
Also, I'm not on you anymore.
I know
Yeah.
it's much easier.
Much easier.
No, I'm not carrying anyone ever again.
get
Tamron, you're about 20 feet back from the gathering
Yeah,
of the
I'll
gathering. Of the,
run up now that we're reconvening after our fun adventure here, and I'll pull the chisel hammer out just to have it at the ready since we're kind of looking like we're prepared to go inside here.
There's
And
a hole
I'm
in
and
the
I'm
floor, it
hanging
looks like.
upside down from the door. Now my head is right at the top of the door. I'm like, woo.
There's a hole in the floor. It looks like there's 2 doorways, and that's about all I can see for now until we go in.
I think
But,
Barzul's
like I said-
just gonna go in.
With all the noise and the lights, we really bungled this one up, fellas.
Yeah, but the good news is, I think if somebody wanted this dead, they would have easily done that by now.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm okay just hanging out here.
Some of us have the advantage of already being dead. And as Barzul enters, I enter, but I'm walking on the ceiling.
So Barzul, while Tamron probably could walk standing straight up, sort of between.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like
the thing.
I like crouch and like almost all fours like through.
Even so, that's going to be rough. Or you can just pull the door out.
Oh yeah, that I think that will be the first point. Grab and then squeeze through. I'm not gonna. I'll just like push it to the side at this point. Like,
Yeah.
and then.
Good thing you all stealthed.
I mean, we didn't.
Yep.
It was really bad to begin with.
I was okay, but oof.
I think it's important that we explore our strengths and our weaknesses early so we can refine ourselves. So this is really just a great practice run.
I'm
Yeah.
hot.
So, Barzul, do me a perception check. This is really about how well you were listening.
Oops.
Is it that? Oh my gosh. Oh no.
And I
don't
think
I've
before
rolled
there's a
over
hole in the floor.
I don't
Well, no,
think
it-
I've rolled over a 5 today.
Yeah.
That was a 4.
So,
A total of 7.
I mean, Elspeth, you were sort of at the leader of this group. And not even so much that he's going to walk into a thing, but, this is a wooden floor that obviously has given away, and here comes Barzul marching in. We're going to slow down the clock here for you all. So, I don't have to pull out that extra script that I wrote quite so soon of, as Barzul comes stepping in, the 2,500 pound stone gargoyle, 8 feet tall.
I think I'm going to go, Barzul, please. The floor, there's a big hole in it. It's wood, which means it's probably already unstable, and you're very heavy.
How far have I gotten at this point?
I will say you've just basically crossed the threshold, and you've put one foot. I mean, right here next to the door, and again close to the wall. I mean, you know that things are stronger, but certainly getting out closer to the center might not be.
Healthy.
I'm not going to tell you what to do.
I'm hanging from the ceiling, right? So I'm like, Barzul, I can go in first if you want.
You all are kind of face to face. You almost got the Spider-Man
Yeah.
and,
I'm just
and Gwen
looking
Stacy
at
thing
his
happening.
eyes.
It's like the Spider-Man scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but much more of a scowl, and just. And we'll turn and walk right back out.
In Jad's head, he was like, it's totally like the romantic Spider-Man scene.
Yeah, just I will like pull a 180
Yeah.
and stomp out.
I turned to them. I'm like, do you want me to go in? I don't have to touch the floor.
That might be best, I think.
Yeah, I think Elspeth, I don't know. I would picture that you had probably taken a step 5 feet in or so, and certainly Tamron's very light.
Yeah, Tamron wouldn't mind getting in there.
Tamron's light.
Like, nimbly, like kind of checking the floor in places. I'm probably the best person to test the floor first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tamron, do me a investigation check with advantage.
Can I help? Or oh no, but you're touching the floor, right?
He's
So I
touching
can't
the
really-
floor,
Yeah,
but you can
I
certainly
can't really
continue out if you want to. Continue out across the ceiling and give
look around.
Yeah, so you can do a perception check and give me that. Do me, roll me both. Give me what your first roll is, and then tell me what the advantage roll would be.
First one was an 11. Second one was a 16.
So cool, Tamron. Yeah, on the 16, as you sort of test around and get closer, you can sort of feel where it is very, get softer and softer close to the center. It does seem incredibly sturdy around the edges. In fact, you can see where there's some places where there's some boxes and crates piled up in the corners that, whether they weigh as much as Barzul, you don't know, but certainly close to the walls seems to be fairly safe. But as you get out towards the center, even at your light weight, as you get closer to the hole, this hole has absolutely destabilized it further,
He'll kind of like scrape at the floor with his chisel hammer, like where it really starts to like go, just so there's at least like a clear line of sight of like.
I'd say it's about 10 feet in. You know, about 8 to 10. You know, between 8 to 10 feet in.
How far down does this go?
2 steps.
And while you're searching, I'm looking and sniffing and listening and stuff. And I got a 20 on my first roll and a 9 on my second roll.
Okay, so same roll. So basically, you're able to walk out and look straight, you know, basically look up as you're upside down, and look straight down this hole. And with your dark vision, you certainly are able to see about 40 feet below you. You see another floor that has a hole in it. It's hard to make out at this angle, but as you sort of walk around and sort of circuit it, you can sort of look and you can tell that there were other floors in between this as well that have given way. And it's with your dark vision with a 20, with a dirty 20, you can see that it is basically just this kind of maze of rubble and debris and broken rafters. You know, a lot of loose, very precariously rubble that's holding sort of between the hole that you're looking at the top and this hole 40 feet below, that it is a very precarious, almost maze-like construction. Think of, I mean, if anyone used to play that old game when they were a kid called Kerplunk, it's like that type of thing. Every different angle.
Got the marbles?
Yeah, it's with the marbles, yeah. You know, and that you have to pull out. I mean, it's like that of what's holding this sort of together here in the center. But there's this sort of central hole where, again, you are smelling, and I would say with that perception check, you're able to spot on the edge of the hole sort of a chunk of red and gold hair stuck in some freshly spilled blood.
So I hiss without meaning to. I just like really loudly, and I point down because I can walk hands free. So I point down, which is very disturbing because my joints like as I point down, and I'm like, Rakeesh fell down that hole. I see his fur and I smell his blood. And now I'm no longer in the like jolly, like flirty Jad that I was moments ago. Now I'm like worried about Rakeesh. So I'm just pointing and I'm hissing and my fangs are now longer. And I'm like, Rakeesh fell down that. We must go down.
Okay. Fell down the hole. You said that you smelled someone else too?
Yes. Oh, do I smell the other person at all?
Yes, you absolutely do. And again, with a dirty 20, you can see that there is another sort of splatter of blood on the opposite side, as though that, you know, their blood was spilled near this hole as well, on the edge of the hole.
It is another human. And I like flick my tongue, and I'm like, yes. And I like, you know, kind of like a snake does, like taste the like air. And I have an extra long tongue, as we established.
So one of the things I've done to help you all, just for visualization purposes,
here we go.
in Roll20, so it's not a tactical map, but it is basically as though one of you all was mapping or what your character sort of memories tell you. So this, hopefully you all can see it, and the Fog of War is working correctly, that you're just seeing the first room.
Yep.
Yes.
And so you have, that's, again, not meant to be a tactical map, just sort of mainly to give you just general layout as we go through sort of descriptions.
I love, Jay, how it's a bird's eye view map because it is literally Jad's like viewpoint. So I inform everyone. I'm like, yes, there are two people. It's like it's like a ways down. It's not just like the next floor. It's a couple of floors
and like I said, in between, you know, the blood that you smell and that you spot is literally right here on the very top floor. Yeah. As you look down, you know, even you don't see necessarily the bottom. You see that 40 feet down at the end of your dark vision, there is another hole, and that in between that there are multiple levels that were broken through along the way.
Gotcha.
And all sorts of precarious debris, you know, along that way. It is very narrow, this hole, you know, that they've fallen through. So So tell me if this is too much with this spell, but I hiss
and I gesture and I bite my lip, and then droplets of blood stream down from my mouth and swirl as I'm using silent image to recreate what I see, like as I look down. And so you can kind of see what I'm showing you, but it's made of droplets of blood suspended in the air.
That's actually really cool.
So yeah, no, dude, I'm totally seeing this as like it's a red holographic image, like a heads-up display, like you would see like in one of the good first-person shooters, you know, that they, like you go up to the video terminal.
Yep.
But literally, it's made out of sort of this mist of Rakish's blood. So you all see hovering sort of above Rakish's head, you know, this sort of
Or Jad.
Jad, I'm sorry, above Jad's head.
Hey, we found him.
Oh yeah, there you above Jad's head, this sort of your mini three-dimensional layout of you, and you can see all of this, just how complicated any sort of traverse directly down the hole would be. Not impossible, but would need to be done with care.
But we also know that there's 2 doors in here that potentially would, I mean, if there's floors built beneath us, if this is designed, there's more than likely steps and stairs and ways down, like through.
Yeah.
Also, silent image is such a useful spell.
Yes.
So like we could, so I say like we could scale down and go the direct route. It might be a little harder for Barzul to do that. Because how big is the diameter of the circle?
Again, only about 5 feet.
Oh yeah, Barzul is not going to fit in there.
Be a tight squeeze.
We could, but we might end up just like Rakish and whoever else is down there. I think we need to try to find the actual way down.
Looking around the room, is there any sort of other signs of a struggle? Like, can I piece together exactly what happened before they fell through the hole?
Do me
Did they fall together?
Do me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, that was
a natural 20.
Or insight.
Oh, finally.
Either way. You sort of look around and in just this sort of flash of insight, almost a divine insight, as this is not something that you would normally be able to piece together, but you're able to see sort of one of the crates on the side seems to be bumped, and you can see where it's a fresh scrape. You can see where sort of the dust that had settled in here, that is always pervasive in the wastelands, has sort of scuff marks in it. It looks very much as though perhaps Rakish, again looking for a spot, entered, was possibly ambushed, and in their struggle, as the thought moved around the room and went to the center, that the floor broke away underneath of them and they fell.
Oh no, poor friend. I don't.
Okay. Huh. So, crate has moved. Dust. Disturbed. I think there was a fight.
And he was pushed down the hole?
I think they fell down the hole together.
Oh, so he fought the other human whose blood I can smell.
With the natural 20, you can tell this break was fresh. I mean, literally, still dust falling. I mean, this hole wasn't there. This hole broke away an hour ago. Oh. It is a brand new hole. All of the timber is fresh broken.
It's very fresh. And yeah, Rakish is down there, and this probably happened about an hour ago.
We should hurry and find him.
And we should definitely find really him. If that other person's still alive and they were fighting, they're definitely probably still going to be fighting. So
or unconscious. They fell 40 feet down the hole.
Right, but if the other person wakes up before, I mean, easier to kill an unconscious guy.
Can I, before we move on, I want to lick the other person's blood so that I can tell who it is easily next time I smell him.
Sure. That's not a problem. I will say, give me a. Let's see.
I'm loving playing with Dhampir, you guys.
Well, so I do need you to make a dexterity, saving throw. I'll give you advantage on this because of your spider climb, because as you approach the hole, you are a full-sized human, and it starts to. You can feel it starting to get underweight, but if you want to reach out with a finger and be very careful about it.
Yeah, let me try.
Careful.
With advantage, you said?
With advantage. again, with your, this isn't a super high check, but let's check at least.
Natural 20 plus 1.
So yeah, you're able to, again, that sort of vampiric, predatory, spider-like movement. It is creepy.
Oh, can I say like I managed to leap lightly from the ceiling to a crate. I jump off of Barzul at one point.
I'm inside. I'm outside. I'm outside.
I jump off the wall at one point and then deftly scoop up some with my finger.
No, because Barzul's not there. But yes, it's very cool. It absolutely is cool, and probably leaping around on a breaking wooden floor is not the best idea. Even
that's
with
on the walls. The walls.
So, let's do check in on Barzul. So you sort of stepped out of this place. Tamrin has marked off, where the floor is more stable. But let's just sort of check in on you because, your first 4 hours being a gargoyle.
Not so successful.
Especially after being such an accomplished bounty hunter for so many years. So where's Barzul's, both physically and mentally, and...
Yeah, I think Barzul, everyone else is I think Tamrin, you're at the doorway, right? So you're still not inside fully. You've gone in. I think Barzul is outside, maybe now sort of leaning against the wall, just sort of looking up into darkness. And it's sort of weird because as a dwarf, he had very good dark vision. As a gargoyle, he has none. And everything has been a bit of a struggle since then. And I think just I don't think he's making a lot of external, there's no external processing. It's all inside and just sort of thinking easy doesn't work. And everything's inside his head. It's just nothing is right. Nothing is lining up.
Okay. So
just real quick, Tamron will like you said, being kind of close to the door now, will at least pop out and just be like, Barzul, we think Rakesh fell and is down at the bottom. We all need to go together to go get him and go save him.
I think Barzul will take a couple steps away from the wall, and almost like he's gonna leave for a second. And then sort of whip around. Fine, let's go.
Do you want to squeeze the Mad Rock one more time before we go?
I look at the I think at that comment, let's see, that's talked. That's an 18. I think unexpectedly will smile.
I love we have a stress rock.
Let's go save our friends.
Go. And he'll I think at this point he's realized that being inside is incredibly dangerous for him, and will just onto all fours to spread as much weight out as possible.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, no, that absolutely would do it. That gives you a, and again, you can sort of see the line that Tamrin has marked. So y'all have 2 doors.
Can we hear anything through any of them?
Does either the door line up with the door from above? Where the stairwell was? Because I feel most buildings, if they have a stairwell, they usually stack them.
The door on the far back corner, the far back left corner, would be on the same wall that the door up above would have been on.
I think Barzul will look at the other one and point that one at the right one, or at the other door, not that one.
At the right door? Okay.
Yeah, the one that isn't that stairwell.
Okay.
Start.
You actually, you can point over there. You head over. Who heads over?
Elspeth will head over.
A ceiling over.
Yeah.
I've decided that when we're indoors, I'm going to be on the ceiling all the time because why not?
Why not? Door. What do y'all want to do?
Standing there looking at this door. I want to listen through the door.
Okay.
Do me a perception check.
Barzul is letting everyone else go first because he knows he will crash through this floor. If he would rather be the person to just crash through the floor at this point and not be in the front to make everything worse.
I got a 4, so nothing.
Yep.
Elspeth's just gonna grab the handle on the door and open it.
Love it. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Yeah, you open up the door, and almost at the same instant as you open it, you kind of recall what you observed, especially Elspeth, from outside, because you looked at the building for probably one of the longest. It's basically just a wall of stone. This right-hand door
the rock.
is where the other side of the building had been wiped out. It would have maybe led to where other rooms and buildings were.
Cool. Okay. Other door.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'll go to the other door and I'll open that one
Okay, it is
real quick.
Yeah, it is unlocked, and no traps, nothing like that. It is pitch black in here because I believe your dancing lights are still outside, or did you bring them in with you?
I brought them in with me to
Okay.
illuminate the room.
Yeah,
when we
no
were
problem.
Doing the
So,
investigation.
Yeah, so it's not pitch black. Basically, you see that there's basically sort of like a 5 by 10-foot landing that extends to your right. And then from the landing to your left is a stairway up. Barzul, as you sort of surmise, that probably leads up to the roof. But then leading sort of back around what would almost be like it was wrapping around this sort of central room, there is another staircase that descends down. And you can see with your light, you can see that it descends all the way down sort of towards another landing. And I will let you all see what you see. Sort of this side. Yeah.
So I told them upstairs is blank. So I'm like, we should go down.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this one I definitely need a marching order because this is a very narrow, only about a 5-foot wide staircase. Jad, you could certainly be on the roof, but you're still, just because of heights and the way they work, I guess you probably could fit directly head to head with Tamron. But
Tamron, maybe. I'll do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it would be all but like y'all were.
Yeah, I want to do that
Statue.
just for the visual of it.
Yeah.
Like Tamron in my head, like.
These are the floor here is stone.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Elspeth will like to throw the dancing lights near the middle of the pack,
Okay.
so at least there's illumination around them as they move downwards.
So what is
Elspeth,
my
do you
marching order?
want us to lead? I mean, you made the comment outside of being a little bit better further away and not being quite so tanky. We can the up and down boys can take it if you want.
Yeah, I'll stick to the back of the pack, but the lights can guide you downstairs. I can control them from where I am.
Awesome. Then
Barzul is at the back.
Okay.
Barzul's at the back.
So Jad, Tamron, who's at the front?
I would be in the. I'm going to be in the same square, whatever, as Tamron, so that our heads are touching. So if we're in the front, sure.
So Tamron and Jad in the front, then Elspeth, then Barzul. Okay.
And I have good vision, right? Tamron, I have good vision in the dark, right? So that's
yeah, I have superior dark vision. So
okay, so you have even better than me, yeah.
And you also have the dancing lights. So
and
you
the
guys-
dancing lights, so we
Yeah.
should be okay in terms of visibility and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be
Um,
slightly ahead just to give Elspeth a little bit of room, and then it sounds like Barzul in the back will be able to handle if something does try to come up behind or anything like that.
Won't be able
It's
to fit past me.
And
Pretty much.
I can stretch and reach your ear, so I lick some blood into your ear, and you can feel guidance take hold of you.
Oh, it's very weird and uncomfortable, but I do feel slightly better, I guess. So,
And I give you my cheerful grin that I tend to give you, very toothy.
okay. Your head feels nice because it's basically just rubbing.
Yeah.
We make our way forward.
So you make your way down these stairs and come down. As you can see, there's sort of an opening. There's a landing below you, about 5 by 5. You can see that it opens out to the left of you. As you come down to that corner, do you all want to peek around the corner? Or you all just going next? So,
I'll peek because I'm on the roof.
Okay. Yeah, so the two of you, it's like you see these two heads, one upside down, one right side up, sort of peek around the thing. I mean, it's such like a Scooby-Doo thing because they're like both coming from the sides. little tiny Tamron and Jod, big old toothy.
And like from like one from the top, one from the bottom.
Yeah.
Like
So you see this is a larger landing. It's about 10 feet by 10 feet square. To your left, sort of like wrapping around as though it was like another hairpin turn, like a staircase is, you can see an opening in the wall with another staircase leading down. But as you poke your heads around and sort of the light is bleeding in there, you begin to hear the sound of ragged, fluttering wings. And I need all of you all to roll initiative.
Nice.
And we're going to take our break.
oh,
So
do you want initiative before or after break?
go ahead and roll initiative, and you can either hand roll it or down at the bottom, if you can click on your portrait. So that will give me a second for me to reset things. Stand by to get the. Has anyone already rolled?
Sorry, I did. I rolled a 19.
Cool. I see your 12. Actually, I can just delete the other ones out. Just go ahead and roll, and I'll just delete out the other people, and click on your things first.
Also, I realized why the spider climb works. I have no blood to rush to my head if I'm upside down.
Also, I don't know. The portraits might be in the dark areas.
Oh, you're right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I can't see them.
It's okay.
Actually, you know what? I lied. They're not here. No, they are. So stand by.
Okay.
No, here is why. Let's go ahead and give you a little bit of view of what.
Ah.
Oh, gods.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm excited.
Also, this music. Ooh.
Okay.
I got 2 in there for you, Elspeth. Which one's the right one?
So the one where I actually selected my token was a 19.
Gotcha. I mean,
course.
I'm fine with you taking. You can take your original one. That's fine. Oh.
I mean, either way.
And Tamron, was it 20 before and the 10, which is the right one?
The 10.
Okay.
Oh.
So cool. With that, let me go ahead and roll mine. Might as well, right? Might as well see what y'all are up against and how we're gonna go.
Oh, this is not
Oh,
gonna
this
be good.
part is great, though.
Barzul with the one. Ah.
So, with that, we will go ahead and switch out to our break real quick, and we will be back here in just a moment with our combat encounter. We'll be right back, folks. About 5 minutes.
All right.
Thank you, and let me switch you over. we go. Hey, folks, and we are back. We left off right as combat had begun with our group of intrepid adventurers halfway scaling down into the depths of this stronghold where their friend Rakesh seems to have been fighting someone and fallen through the floor, and they are trying to get to him before something worse can happen. So they turned the corner into a small room where the fluttering of crazy ragged wings started to swarm around the room. I'd like to give a shout out to Kobold Press. This are some great creatures. Lesser cadaver sprites. Actually, I modified them. They are cadaver sprites from their new Tome of Beasts 2 that was on their Kickstarter, but also is now available in their stories. That's also their great artwork right out of the book there. That when you get it, buy it in Roll20, you can use all these assets in your games. So we will get this going. So Jad, you are Scooby-Dooing around the corner, and you hear these wing flaps as all of these. Y'all made enough noise along the way. They kind of were expecting you. Not to mention there's light kind of pouring down around the corner of the stairs. So you sort of just see this swarm of these little sprite-like creatures with ragged wings, sort of fanged teeth. I'll zoom in. Coming up on you. They are nasty little boogers, and they are definitely not pleased that you've sort of invaded their home.
Do I know or can I tell anything about them from my memory or from
They're 4 months old. Nope.
Okay.
Actually, cadaver sprites are a pretty normal pest. I would say as you've journeyed out of the tower, and the fact that you were feeding on some cadavers, yeah, you've probably bumped into these before.
Okay. And so do I know, like, are they like undead creatures that become sprite-like things?
No, they are not undead. They are, they are undead. They are tiny undead.
Okay, so I know that. Great. Let's see. Does this work on undead? I hope it works on undead. Yeah, so if I see them, the first thing I do is especially as I've met them before, I'm going to use vicious mockery on them.
Okay.
They can take that. Yeah, sure. And I'm like, pests! I hate pests! Just like flapping my hand upside down. I'm like, I'll tell them like, you're useless pests. Which is my string of insults, laced with subtle enchantments. So, target must make a wisdom saving throw.
Believe it or not, they're not terrible at these.
What?
They're not terrible.
My save DC is 14.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw.
Is it one swarm or are there many of them?
Does this target an area or does it target an individual?
A single target.
Okay, so you sort of, your words find their way to one's ears. However, on a 19 on its wisdom saving throw, I believe that means that.
Yeah, it's a cantrip, so I don't think anything happens.
Yeah,
it's a cantrip. Yeah.
So they just.
So I just spend my time being like, oh my god, these pests! But I crawl into the room and make some space for the others to enter because I know my head is hanging upside down.
Yep. So Elspeth, Jad sort of gets out of your way. You sort of crawl in. You were still back a little bit around the corner when you hear Jad start to yell and sort of scurry across the ceiling. Tamron is there in front of you, but he's pretty small. So, and I believe actually one of his things is that you can pass through his space under.
Yes.
Right, because he's tiny or small, right?
Very small.
So I would like to sort of look around Tamron and see all these things down. I'm gonna throw my light. I think it's let me just check. It's a bonus action on my move to move the lights up to 60 feet to a new spot in range.
Yep.
So I'd like to illuminate these so we can get a better look at them.
Yep.
Nice.
And then I would like to, for my action, I would like to cast a Sacred Flame, spending a sorcery point to twin that spell and make 2 Sacred Flames to target 2 of them.
Okay. So you see like this sort of swarm of them. Go ahead, and is it a roll on your side or is it a roll on my side?
It's a roll on your side. They need to make a dexterity check.
Okay, on a dexterity saving throw. Oof. These little dexterous boogers. The first one's a 20. The second one is an 18.
They both make it, so it doesn't really do anything. It goes wide and hits the wall sort of sparking off.
And sort of as you see, you actually see as they are sort of swarming around, this sort of sacred flame as it goes off looks as though it should have hit one of them, but sort of all but passes through. But they're sort of like shimmering. It's sort of like this mirrored effect, as though there seems to be more of them than there might be. And Jad, you would be familiar with this from your time feasting, that there is as tiny fey creatures, undead fey creatures, they have some defenses to help them survive out in the wild.
So I hiss. I'm like, they're annoying defensive. And I'm just annoyed. I'm not like in my blood rage. I'm just irritated that these dumb, pesky pests are here.
Okay. So it's now their turn. Elspeth, you had to pop around the corner in order to do that, yeah?
Yes, but I'm gonna tuck into a corner. Hopefully, that as soon as Barzul comes around the corner, I'm going to make sure that there's room for the barbarian to get through.
Yeah. So I would say, to make sure for room for the barbarian to get through, since we've already got sort of Tamrin in that space, you would probably need to you could tuck around into the room, but I don't think you could tuck back into the hallway that Barzul is going to need to come through.
No, I'm tucking into the room and then into a corner as far back as I can.
Okay, yeah, no, you absolutely can do that. In fact, there's the stairwell, the beginning of the stairwell down to your left that you can sort of, go one or two steps down to catch a little bit, sort of run across and get out
Absolutely.
of their way. As they are back against the wall, it's not like you pass through their melee range. So, we are going to have one of them takes out a short bow and is going to try to shoot Elspeth. I am going to give you partial cover so you can add 2 to your AC. On a 10, I don't think it hits anyway.
A 10 it would have hit, but with +2 to AC, it does not.
Okay. You see this little, and it's like a little thorn, almost looks like a little piece of bone, clatters across the floor. And then another one is going to try to come up and bite Jad.
Oh, he flies. He flies up.
Yep, flies up to you. That would be a 14.
It definitely hits.
And that does 5 piercing damage plus 1 necrotic.
Am I resistant? Let me see. I'll manage it, but let me see.
Yep. And I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, I'm good at that. And
on a 10 you fail, so at the beginning of your next turn we need to
do something.
Roll you a d4. Yeah, because they have this crazy little corruption bite. And
so 5 normal, 5 piercing, and 1 necrotic.
Necrotic, yep. So 6 total damage.
I'm resistant. I don't think I am. You can. I'm done. Yeah, you can.
Yep. And I think you're right up there, and you were bad mouthing him. The other one's going to go up and try to take a bite out of you. On a 9, I
fails. Finally.
So it comes.
Can
up
I say
there.
I try and bat it away with my?
Yeah, it tries to fly up there and get to you, and just you're sort of flailing. You're able to keep it away. Next up is Tamrin.
Yeah. So this is wild. These tiny little cadavers are attacking people, shooting little bows. But Tamrin looks pretty rattled, but is just kind of whispering to himself over and over again, just like, no, not yet, not yet. And he raises his hands as he did before, aiming them at these creatures. But unlike the last time, it was pretty rigid and in place, almost kind of robotic. He is shaking pretty violently. He actually uses his other hand on his other arm to try to hold himself in place. And he's just gonna squint his eyes and try to find some power that he had before without needing to channel that terrible thing inside of him. And after hitting a couple last time, he's gonna try and Eldritch Blast some of these things.
Okay.
So let me go to this and try to roll this.
Ooh, yeah.
19.
Definitely hits.
So previously, when this magic shot out from him, it was the color of those corrupted crystals, that reddish, kind of blackish tint beforehand. This time, when it leaves his hand, it's almost this like lightish, whitish blue that bursts forth and makes its way into these cadaver sprites.
Love it.
And that is going to be 6 points of damage into one of them.
Cool. So you see it go slamming in. I need to roll a d20. Oh, yeah, on a natural one. So as you hit it, you see it sort of slam into this group of them. And beside it, the one that you hit beside it, the two other things sort of shatter like mirrors and shower down as you sort of broke its mirror image spell since you were able to hit it. So that one, you now have a bead on this one that before was sort of had this sort of mirror-like effect of multiple sprites circulating around it.
Sweet.
So we don't actually know how many there are.
You don't know how many there are.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So yeah, he'll just kind of like look down at his hand and look back up, and then like look at everyone else and be like, ah! And I think knowing that Barzul's behind him, he'll do his best to make himself even smaller to try to like make enough room.
Yeah, you could easily suck up against the wall and still leave room for Barzul. So, speaking of,
Barzul, hearing this commotion, is going to barrel down the stairs and almost do that like thing where they like across the wall as he comes around the corner. Like, yeah. As he does, going into a rage. As he does that, his eyes flare. Almost flecks of stone come off him, and entirely just with claws, is going to start swiping at these things.
Come on, you gotta say the words for me, man.
I would like to rage.
Yeah.
So let me.
Gargoyle rage is something that very few people have probably ever seen because they don't normally rage.
No, gargoyles are these very emotionless, stone creatures, and that there's one of these giant, 8 foot tall, 2,000 pound stone behemoths angry.
So like no weapons out, just claws. First one gonna like try to grab one and like crack with his claws. Reckless attack.
Ooh, nice. So advantage.
Yep.
Is it a feat?
No, that's barbarian.
Oh, it's a class feature. Nice.
23.
I'd say at least is it automatic? Is that done the? Yes, it did.
Yep. Yeah, it did that.
Yeah, cool. So yes, on a 23, yeah, you absolutely. Well, actually, let's see. Yep,
Is this the one that Tamron hit? Or,
Oh yeah. Yeah, are you going for the one that Tamron hit, or are you going for a different one?
Whichever one's like closest, honestly.
We can absolutely be the one that Tamron hit. So yeah, it's the one that's by itself, where the other ones are sort of in a swarm. So it's the obvious target.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me just check a thing. Plus, I just want to make sure my range damage is accounted for. That is 9 points with the first swing.
You've had a really bad day. And you just reach out. There's this one here that it had gone up and sort of tried to bite Jad, and then sort of backed off. And as it backed off, it got slammed by Tamron, and then there's just this giant stone hand just and just. All that's left is a fine red paste in your hand.
And then since I am a Path of the Beast and my claws, I can make, when I take the attack action, I can make an extra attack with a claw. So same reckless.
Yep, absolutely.
14 to hit, much lower.
14 just hits. Let's see.
Oh, rage.
On a natural 3, you catch the right one, and there's one that's like you reach into this swarm, and
11 points.
Dude, tell me about reaching to the swarm and finding the right one and utterly destroying it.
Yeah, I think The first one, I just and like just pop, and the next one, I just like reach into this swarm, and maybe I pass through one of the like images and just and then tear it out and hurl it, and it like probably like smacks against the wall beside Elspeth.
Yeah, just sploosh. And you just, it's almost like in an animated film where, it's just like sploosh, and then just sort of, and just leaves.
And then we'll just let out like a bellowing, and like wings fill the space as much as possible.
When you do that, I mean, do the other mirror images, do they like shatter and stuff? I just want
so
to
all
add that for like how cool that would look.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like it slams in the wall. It's like, and you see all three of them slam, but then the other two just sort of like shatter into sort of like this falling, sort of fairy glass, that just sort of, and this other one just sort of drags to the ground. Yeah.
And then maybe for the first time, Barzul appreciates this form. It's very different from the way Barzul would or Targan would fight.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely is this a rush of adrenaline of just.
Yeah. That's my turn.
10-foot room. Your wings spread out. I mean, that's the other thing is you give certainly even more full cover to Elspeth. Jad is probably still in front of you.
I'm hanging
upside down. But speaking of Jad,
so how many? Sorry,
you see this one sort of group of three, and I mean, you can start to put together again.
Yeah.
You've been dealt with these before.
Yeah.
Got to figure out which one's the right one, but you've got a good idea at this point that two of these are mirror images. One of them's only the real one.
Yeah, I also have like 4 illusion spells, so I'm like, okay, this is illusions, right? So I instead, unbidden in my head, I don't know how I know this, but the when I woke up, there were how many bodies around me?
You were one of 8.
8. The last words of all 7 of them suddenly come to my head, and without me like knowing what I'm doing, my like jaw unhinges, because my jaw can unhinge when I have lots of unhinging joints and things, you guys.
Hey.
My jaw unhinges, and simultaneously all their last words erupt from my throat in whispering voices that are dissonant.
Nice.
And they have to make me this first level spell. They must make me a DC 14 saving throw wisdom.
Wisdom, here we go. On a 9, it fails.
Nice. So they take 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately, if it doesn't kill them, they must use its reaction to move as far away from me as it can.
Okay. So yeah, they take, you see, and I'm thinking on a saving throw, the mirror images doesn't matter. So
it doesn't. That's why I did it.
You see all the images sort of take on this same amount of damage, sort of blood coming out of their eyes and out of their ears. They don't fall down, but they then like just, they were sort of coming at you, and then they were like, and then even these cadaver sprites who've, they've seen some shit, man. I mean, they're like backing off, and you basically slam against the back wall, which is still like only 5 feet away from you, 10 feet away. No, you moved in the room. So they're still like within 5 feet of you.
Yeah, sure.
But because there's just nowhere else to go.
They're undead, and what are they scared of? There must have been, I don't know, a necromancer in that room doing some sort of ritual. So one of the whispering voices is that of the necromancer. And that maybe is what frightens them, this like voice of a necromancer.
Yeah, no, they would be definitely, as an undead, would be familiar of sort of the voice of their of one of their creators. Elspeth, you see these sort of cowering cadaver sprites, still definitely hostile and hissing, but just unable to, they've reared back from Jad.
I think hearing Jad's warning about them being fast and nimble and tricky, Elspeth is going to shoot a firebolt at them.
Okay.
So let's see how that works. That is an 18 to hit.
Yep, 18 will definitely hit. Let's see if it hits one of them or their mirrors. On a 15, you see one of the mirror forms just shatter and sort of fall to the ground. So there's still 2 up there as this. You caught one of the mirror images and not the actual one.
Okay. But now that image is shattered, so it is no longer.
There's 2 there now. So before there was 3.
Yeah.
So you did
Now
so. That
there's
was
2.
still cool. That's still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my turn for now.
Cool. So then it is it. I'm gonna do a wisdom check just to see if they're brave enough to attack the giant gargoyle. There might just be like, I'm not shooting. They are not smart. It's gonna shoot its short bow at the giant gargoyle for a natural 1. I think that let's just do it. They basically pull out this short bow. They've got you dead to rights. They are literally going for the headshot. Think, boom.
And then I just like scream like in their face.
Yeah, no, their little bone, rib bone arrow, like bird rib arrow. Yeah. Tam. Rib.
Yeah, great job, team. Tamron's pretty hyped about being able to actually harness that power within him without going full hollowed, but is still a little, I think, nervous about going back to it too much. So I think he'll just kind of like grab his little chisel hammer and he'll get up and he'll just, he means well, but he's getting in there, and instead of doing like a cool war cry like Barzul did, he really is just kind of yelling and already swinging like as he's approaching these things, just kind of hoping to clip one of them. So I'm going to swing with his hammer.
Awesome.
For an 18.
Dude. Okay, let me do the roll. See if you get the right one. On a 5, go ahead and swing for what? Tell me what the damage is. Let's see. No, dude. These things are vulnerable to bludgeoning.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. Well, dude, they're little sprites.
Wow, that makes sense. So here's Tamron just like, ah!
Let's face it, they're the New World skeleton, right? So, dude, since they only have 14 hit points, and Jod did 10, Tamron, tell me how you become the hero of the ages.
Tamron marches forward in his mind as badass and as cool looking as Barzul, when in reality he is wildly swinging in every direction, and you see as these, cadaver sprites and go falling to the ground. And yet, even though they have completely fallen to the ground and are no longer there, you do still see Tamron swinging and yelling. As he kind of spins a little bit, you notice his eyes are closed, and he's just still going wild. Before I think maybe finally like opening one eye and being like, oh, yeah, just.
I stage whisper at you. You are as badass and cool looking as Barzul.
And he pumps his fist. Just.
So with that, combat comes to a close, and you find yourself in this room with the pretty pitiful smushed remains of these cadaver sprites. How would you all like to continue?
Also, most of you still have your temporary hit points, right? Because no one else took damage, right? Apart from me.
We're feeling fine so far.
Good stuff. So I say, this makes me worry a little more about our comrade downstairs.
What is the rest of this chamber like again?
So it's basically a 10 by 10 foot by. Did I move you all back? Or did I move you to the wrong spot? So your map is back up. So basically, it's a 10 foot by 10 foot. Since Elspeth sort of moved down into the stairwell, you've got a little bit of a view that this goes down the stairs. And in fact, let me go ahead and open this up and sort of goes. Oops. And sort of goes down deeper into into
I
this
see.
this
So
stronghold.
this was just the landing.
Yeah, this was basically just an oversized landing, and the cadaver sprites had sort of nested in this area.
I think feeling this adrenaline, Barzul's not waiting and just down the stairs.
Are you still raging?
Elspeth
I
will
mean,
send the
I
lights
have
after Barzul.
until the end of my next turn, I think. So
Nice.
Yeah, the lights are gonna sort of swirl around Barzul as he bounds down these stairs.
Okay. So yeah, you go down this stairway, and it comes to a corner. So it only goes down another 10 feet until it reaches a corner and turns to the left. Very much as you all sort of were expecting, it seems to be sort of wrapping around as it goes deeper and deeper into the ground. You do see a staircase to your left off of this little 5x5 landing that goes deeper down. Lights are going around you, so you actually can see. So I would say, since the lights are around, you can see all the way down. It's a very long. This one's a very long sort of staircase. Certainly more than one story down, but all the way down at the bottom of it, you can see again on the left is a door.
yeah, I think Barzul is not stopping at all. And if there's a door, there might not be when Barzul gets through it.
Yes.
Okay, so how about the rest of y'all? Are you all just following the raging gargoyle as he on all fours just goes full on those? I'm thinking of those dogs like from Ghostbusters when they go tearing up the stairwell. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow the beast. Follow the sexy beast.
Yeah, we're following Barzul, and I've got the lights. I keep recasting it because apparently dancing lights only last a minute. So
okay. Yeah, no, you're again.
keep-
It's you can keep it
And
up, no problem.
Because I can
Yeah.
move really fast, I'll be very close behind Barzul because
Okay.
I'm like, keep up.
and I'll
on
take up
the
the
suit.
back with Tamarind.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
So now we got Barzul, Jad. So seriously, you reach the door. What are you doing? Are you
Going right through
okay?
it.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Okay. Do I see it coming?
Actually, let me do a. This one I will give you athletics, but it is I can't give you an advantage on this.
You're good at athletics.
Am I
right?
still raging? Do I get the end of my rage?
Something has to attack you, or you have to attack something. Let me measurement wise. If you were dashing,
Yeah, that's basically what I was.
6.
And
I
your
mean, no, believe it or not, 5, 10, 15, 20,
your
25,
speed
30,
is high.
35, 40, 45, 50. No, you literally could have with the dash that when you hit the door, you are still raging.
Yeah, that's
So Barzul just screamed and like rushed forward in his blind
I had no
rage.
patience at this point. Okay, athletics.
Yeah, so I guess actually for aesthetics as raging, you have advantage, yeah?
Nice.
Dual 18s.
Sweet. So you go bursting through this door, and as you go bursting through, you immediately take in what's around you. There is no floor at all in this
Oh, God.
room.
Yes.
But with your strength and with this athletic, you are able to leap using your momentum straight across and grab, basically sink your talons into the wall. There is a tiny little ledge below you as you are basically in this room now, sort of hanging on the wall over on this far side, straight across from the door you just burst into. You're like hanging on the wall. There's a tiny little like where rubble has been left there, but other than that, it is just a gaping hole in the floor below you. The rest of you all come running up on it, and basically you see this room. It's a square room. It's about 15, 18 feet across. Floor is completely gone. in some places the walls are like polished smooth. Other places they've got like these long, deep vertical gouges in them. Some new ones now from Barzul as he's climbed in. I need. Actually, I'm not. We don't even need to do a perception check. The walls are covered in these sort of dark stains, vertically, always splashing upwards. Jad, you are immediately hit by the smell. This is probably dozen, maybe 24 people's blood, dried blood, old dried blood on the walls.
Okay.
But it is always in a splatter pattern from going from low to high.
As though someone impacted and their blood whooshed upwards.
Let me have everyone give me an insight or a investigation check, whichever you prefer.
Okay. Nice. A blood splatter testing.
Yes.
8 for me.
Hey, my rolls are changing. A 15.
Cool. Up, you're muted.
Oh wait, sorry. 16. I forgot it was inside.
Or I just missed it, Anita.
And I
15. 15. No, sorry, 17.
17.
15 plus 2.
Elspeth, I think this is probably from your medical training and Barzul. This is as though something came from below and then as whatever it hit, basically, splashed this blood upward. That whatever caused this pattern came from below. Barzul, you recognize this. Elspeth, you recognize this. Barzul, you are there hanging over this hole for whatever lies beneath.
Can I see down into the hole from the ceiling?
It is completely dark. In fact, it's weird that you seem to not be able to penetrate the darkness.
I say that to them. I'm like, I cannot see in that dark. And Tamarind, Tamarind, I know can see in the dark.
Superior dark vision, give me anything here?
So I forget, does superior see through magical darkness?
I don't know.
Or is it just distance?
I thought it was just distance. Your dark vision has a radius of 120 feet, so yeah, nothing about magical. So
okay, because you are able to see down around 60 feet or so before it cuts off or seems to cut off. There seems to be a rippling surface down below.
I don't know exactly what's going on down there. I can see a little bit, but it kind of looks like maybe like water, like weird water. I don't know. It's just like it's rippling up. It seems bad though.
Do you want me to send the lights down and see how it?
There's blood on the wall. Do we?
Yeah, not generally cool.
Is there any other way down or around, or is this just kind of...
You see straight across at the opposite corner as the rest of you get a look. Barzul didn't get a good look because he's hanging on the wall, but there is an opening sort of catty corner to where you came in. You all, smashed through. Let's just get rid of that door. That door doesn't exist anymore. So you basically see your opposite corners. There are entries and exits to this room. Barzul is at the other corner.
So if people want, I can grab a rope and try and climb to the ceiling and stretch it to the other end.
I would imagine between Jad and like Jad, because you're good being able to just
on the walls or
climb.
ceiling, yeah. And the blood is so old, it's not really affecting me.
I think if we have a rope, Barzul just kind of seems like big and buff enough to at least get us over. Okay, I say that, but
yeah, Barzul could at least act as an anchor point.
Yes, that's exactly it. It's not much, but it's something.
I have a rope. About 50 feet of it.
Okay.
I love how there's a new magic card, 50 feet of rope. I think it's hilarious.
It's very cool. So, Barzul currently is not with you. He's across the room from you, or across the hole from you.
Yeah, but with Jad's wall walk, basically.
Jad could certainly carry it over.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Question: Is there an exit from this room?
Yes, it is catty corner to you. It is down, down, basically
right.
on this. It's whoops. That's the hole.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's what we're trying to stretch the rope towards.
Yep.
And I'm over here, right?
You're over there.
All right. Can I just sort of like,
You can do me a athletics check.
Can I help him in any way?
He is
fuck that?
2,000
Natural
pounds.
20. Natural 20.
Okay, I don't need to help you. But also, yeah, you're 2,000 pounds.
So
I have a strength of 9.
I'm gonna just throw some extra flavor into this. You are going across, and and as you're going across with a natural 20, and also because you earlier had passed the investigation check, a chunk of the wall sort of comes out and begins to fall. And as it falls, at first you're just like, eh. And this flash of insight hits you. And you catch it. And don't let it fall
Oh.
down into whatever's below. Just some instinct tells you probably not a good idea, and that maybe the first time you landed, for whatever reason, didn't upset whatever was down there. Couldn't possibly be that couldn't possibly be that your DM rolled a really, really bad number.
I feel like what happened was like Barzul instinctively is just climbing across the wall, and as he sort of tears out a chunk and it begins to fall, Thargan's instincts kick in, like when he's like sneaking and things like that, like, and just like grabs it, as like knowing that like if it clatters, if it makes noise, if it like, I think that's the thing that like catches him.
Gotcha.
You have
then-
clawed feet, right? So you can grab it with your foot, right?
He's also got his tail. It's prehensile.
Oh yeah,
Maybe it was my tail just whoosh, and I was like, okay, that was not expected.
This is making me think of the Mission Impossible scene where the sweat drop gets caught. Yeah.
And then sort of like pull myself around the corner from there.
So yeah, so you get over to the other side where there's these and the opening that you all are heading towards, the door across, and you see there's a landing there that extends. It's just a short hallway, really, not even just like a landing that extends. I need to move this a little bit so I can actually do my work. Where it sort of extends, and you can see a quick look. You can see that there's another staircase that leads even further down.
All right. And so Jad is coming across with the rope.
So I come across the rope, and then the plan was I tie it around you, who are 2,000 pounds. Exactly. Yeah. And so that it stretches across, and maybe I do it with my rope as well, so that you can hold 2 ropes.
Okay.
And then the 2 of you can hopefully use that to crawl over.
Okay. So
and honestly, it'd be kind of nice because like Jad, you can also like serve as kind of like a spotter almost, I would think.
What is the diameter of the room? That's the question.
It is 15 feet. 18 feet. I mean, it's weird measurement because of the the way that the corners are. The corners are left because whatever's come up from below basically is a circle in a square room.
And so that means the radius is 6 feet. So from a wall, no, the radius is 12 feet. So from a wall, if I'm anchored on a wall, I cannot reach out and grab you. Because the radius
ceiling also a hole of the same diameter, or is it?
The actual ceiling. So Jad is the ceiling goes up for like actually it's up to the floor of what was above you. So Jad, you kind of had to go up and across. You're not literally. It's not a 1-story room. It's like a 2-story vaulted space.
So I think it's physically I can't reach you from the walls to balance you because it's too wide diameter room. I'm not that tall. I'm hot though,
which is the important part.
Yeah, I think Barzul will sort of stand in the entryway and like unfurl his wings as much as possible, like brace against the wall and like wrap both ropes, like one in each arm. Or actually, I think just both across both. Like, actually, one he'll like loop around his center and the other he'll have in his arm. So he has an arm free
Ah.
to grab or
Yeah.
Nice.
catch just in case.
So, and we can, I mean, just to remind you, your wings are about 8 feet long. So, you even have the, since you were talking about spotting, you certainly could all but make rails for the last 8 feet. Unfortunately, you've got the first 6 feet or so, they've got to make it on their own. But there's something to sort of fall into.
Yeah.
There would be some checks involved if you were trying to catch somebody with your wings. I will say that.
2 ropes, right? One on your waist, one in your arm, which means you can shimmy along one rope with your hands on
the
the
old
other.
boys. I was thinking you were doing the Boy Scout thing. It's not. The ropes aren't side by side; they're top and bottom.
Exactly.
So
That's
feet on one, arms on the other.
So the other.
Wow, is that an actual thing? I thought I
Yep.
invented that.
Yep.
Just now.
Yeah, it's an old Boy Scout.
Okay.
Old ropes course type idea.
Yeah, I made up
Yeah.
a Boy Scout thing.
Barzul is a ropes course. Here we go. Let's do this.
Here we go. So with all of this
Let's
here,
timeline this.
I definitely will give you all advantage, both Elspeth and Tamarind.
Yay,
on,
we're smart adventurers.
You can use. I'll even say it's athletics or acrobatics, whichever one you'd like to use on this. As you all have come up with a even better. All the crazy
Neither are
solutions
good.
that I had for this, yours is far better than anything I came up with because that's how it works.
It's a straight roll either way.
Yep.
With advantage, though, so.
With advantage.
Come on, bye, dice. Don't let me down. That's double
No.
6s.
Oh God.
Bye, everybody. Nice to see you. It was a nice playing with
How
y'all.
far does Elspeth get?
What did she fall? Let's see what happens, Jake. Yeah.
So I guess the real question: did Tamarind go first or did Elspeth go first?
I would think. I don't know. I would think Ellsworth would go first. Unfortunately, because the whole concept of having 2 ropes doesn't matter too much when one of us is like.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would have to adjust them for Tamarind.
We'd
So
have to
yeah,
adjust.
Right.
Either way.
But
I mean,
you'd have
one
to
is on my
lower your
arm, so I can
so you can
raise
lower
it.
it.
Oh, that's
So-
true. That's true.
yeah,
So yeah.
That makes sense that Elspeth goes first, and after which Barzul would have lowered his arm, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got some options here. You all see Elspeth stepping out onto this, feet on the rope, arms on the rope. She gets about, again with a 6, so it's bad. She gets not quite to the middle, but almost to the middle.
Oh, wait, sorry. One was a 9. I'm just realizing that it was
Oh.
upside down.
Okay, that does make a
But
difference.
better.
Not much.
That absolutely makes a difference. So
I need to flip it over.
Give
so
me
the
a,
line's on the opposite side.
I'm gonna roll a d20 and give me a higher low. So we'll see whether you're closer to Barzul or closer to Tamrim when this goes wrong.
Give me a high.
On a 16, you are past the midpoint and about 3/4 of the way across before your foot slips.
Tail.
I need Barzul. This is all about reaction speed, man. So I can give you acrobatics or I can give you dexterity, but I don't think I can give you strength at this point.
That's fine. Is it a dex save or is it a dex check?
It's a dex save. You're trying to save her life.
Cool, because I have advantage on this.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Sense, baby.
12.
On a 12. On a 12. As you see her begin to fall, you have this natural reaction. And because we just went through this, mentally it was, how do I catch her? On a 12, roll me a tail attack.
This is so exciting.
19.
On a 19, your tail slashes out, grabs her, but I need you to roll the damage on it.
Oh no!
Oh,
Do it. I'll take it. I'll
better
soak
than
the damage.
breaking the
I got
thing.
8 temporary HP.
All right.
I'll soak it.
Just be thankful I'm not raging right now. D8. Here we go. Cool. That was a 3, so 5 points of damage.
So Elspeth, you feel yourself falling, that panic, falling backwards off this rope. It's almost like a nightmare where you feel yourself falling and the breath just gets knocked out of you as the tail comes slashing out, slams into you, but grabs you and reels you in, sort of almost then slamming up against Barzul's chest and form as he reels you in.
I think Barzul is going to this was his quarry.
Oh.
I think in this moment where he pulls her in, there's like this like conflicting voice in his, like Thargan is like, yes, and Barzul is like freaked out and like takes a staggered step back and just drops her onto the landing.
You're not in the water.
Yeah.
Right back in. Sorry.
I think there's this small moment where we make eye contact,
Yeah.
and I might see something in that moment that I'm not quite sure what it is yet.
Ooh.
Thanks. I'm gonna move to the other side. We should really let Tamron try and get across now, though.
Barzul, you've seen this already, Elspeth. The attention just slips away from you, and he'll like sort of pull aside to let you by and not make eye contact again.
So, Jad, where
Mhm.
are you? Are you up on the
Um,
roof still?
At this point, I would be on the roof of the side where Barzul is because we
Okay.
realize I
Yeah.
can't help them, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say if I see Tamron about to come, I'd forgotten Jad was occupied. He's gonna breathe out and a cloud of blood towards Tamron, and you inhale the like lovely metallic smell, and you feel guided by me.
Okay. This actually works into when I.
Oh, okay.
So, between sort of the gasp of Elspeth and Barzul stepping back and this blood as it drifts across the opening,
Yeah.
because we invoked it before, you sort of see whoop, a drop of blood fall down below. And like the strike of a snake, you see this giant just maw of teeth come shooting up through this hole, basically taking up the entire space in there, ripping through the two ropes. Jad, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as this maw of teeth is shooting up towards you as you're up in that top corner.
Oh no, I thought I was on the inside where Barzul is.
Oh, I thought you were
landing.
saying you were on the roof over
No,
the
no,
hill.
I'm in the landing. Because
the
I
landing,
can't help
okay.
anyone from inside.
Because you
anymore.
can't help any. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely said that. So this thing comes before you step off, Tamron. You see this giant tube, this sort of undulating horror of blood and sinew and teeth and spikes come shooting up through there. And as it reaches up to about your level, you see these sort of long, spiky teeth shoot out and scrape through the walls and then sort of and draw itself back down.
Oh my god, lovely. So the
Yeah.
ropes are destroyed now.
The ropes are destroyed.
You still feel
Has Thargan ever seen something like this? Is this like
Roll
a thing
me.
that someone
You've
has
been in
used
some
for
horrible
war?
places.
Yeah,
So,
this feels exactly like as Stargate, I would be like, oh, I would totally have fucking done this. Like,
roll me a history check, and I'll give you advantage.
all right. Just an 11. That's not with me.
It was not that high because these are actually these things spawn very often out in the Sylvan Wastes. Most people just call them malleables. They basically are when just death and decay and magic mix together just to become this sort of feeding worm-like structure that is just based on instinct. It's like a trapdoor spider. They lie in wait in places like this and are basically spawned by magic. Again, on a 12, you all needed to be at 10. They don't really have much of a structure to them other than just magic. They are sort of just a giant sort of mass of muscle and tissue. So again, out in the world, there's lots of ways to deal with them. The problem is when one gets a drop on you, of sort of destroying them through catapults and are through different types of magic to just sort of basically disperse them and and destroy them.
I feel like as this thing, Thargan Barzul recalls this town that it wasn't important, but he was proving a point. And he maybe not set one of he maybe lured one of these things to it and just let it go in a town at some point. And I feel like Barzul recoils a little bit, and there's this mix of almost like a leering smile mixed with a frown on his face.
Yeah, no, this would definitely be something you could have done. And if you don't mind me throwing a little color to this would be something you would have thrown down a town's well, and that people just were disappearing and never found because they would lean over the well when they dropped the bucket down and just disappear to get pulled in by this until it became, they feed long enough, they then become more ambulatory and able to think until it would crawl out of there in sort of a semi-humanoid form to then just destroy the town. But yeah, that you would have started at taking small animals and children at the well, sort of.
Oh gosh, good person, folks. Good person.
Yeah. So Tamron, you're on the other side. All your friends.
You see Tamron just going
You're feeling guided, though.
How much? So it snapped the rope. We had 50 feet of rope. How much rope do we have remaining?
I imagine it's shredded, right?
Yeah, the rope is pretty shredded. By the time it was wrapped around your arms, and certainly it had to be wrapped around on the other side as well, I would say you could try to tie one together, and we could do... Hey, Bird, we can do the whole, let's see how good your knot is trick, like we've had happen before.
So with all these, this character is not built for this, but with all the kind of crumblings, all the bodies thrown and smashed and this thing attacking the wall, is there any sort of kind of holds along the way that Tamron could potentially use?
Absolutely. Especially with you. The corners are all sort of filled in with whatever's left. Like I was saying, it's a circular creature in a square room. And where the floor was, the nice part is you've got tiny little feet. So it's not like you could definitely go along what would be the remains of the what would have been the floor that would have been in this chamber.
I mean, I don't know what other options we have here. Again, this is
Oh, now I can help you.
foolish, but
If you're
Absolutely.
side crawling, now I can help you.
yes,
yeah.
please. Oh my God,
Oh,
yes.
absolutely. Yeah, that you would have advantage on all of this.
Because I'm very free, as long as I don't drop things into the water, which I'm
Yeah,
gonna take
I
off.
mean, that's the other
everything.
thing. You can also be the eyes to make sure nothing drops.
Yeah.
Yes, cool.
Great solution. I love this.
Let's give this a shot.
Go Dampiers was sexy,
Yeah.
especially this one. And you have a D4 from my blood
Okay,
on your ear.
so
I'll do athletics or acrobatics, whichever you would like.
okay, well it's a +0 or a +1. So let's try acrobatics.
And you have advantage because Jad is
And
there.
you have
helping,
advantage and a D4, yeah.
and a D4.
That's a 3 on the die.
And wait for
What's
both
the
of them.
second done?
That is an 11 on the die. So
Okay.
And
a
then
12
D4.
total. And a D4. That's 4. So
Yes!
15.
So, y'all, the two of y'all describe how you guide Tamarin around the outside edge of the wall to safety.
Can I whisper soothing things to you as my help?
Sure.
So I whisper like, don't worry, this isn't as bad as that one time I had to like dissect this like person with my teeth to like borrow for the borrowing like flesh
no.
borrowing
Oh, that's bad.
worm in his
Oh,
like
that's-
stomach,
that's
right?
gross.
Like
Yeah.
right. So like again, distracting you
That's
from
gross.
the present
No,
yucky
it's
from
a-
like this other yucky.
Why
that
would
I'm
you even
telling-
do that? It seems bad.
And I'm like, because it was borrowing in him, and I had to save his life. This is
No,
someone in
that
the
seems
village.
counterproductive, but I'm not a doctor, so I don't.
Well, there was no doctor there. I was the only one who's good at
Oh,
piercing.
no.
I feel like at
skin.
this point they've like made it their way around, and I just like scoop Tamarin up
Yeah.
away from
Yeah,
this really
absolutely.
awkward conversation
Yeah.
and set him behind me.
Yeah.
I'm so good at distracting you from your current fear, you know?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. So you guys have all reached the other side safety. Good job, everyone. I was going to say, the lucky roll was the fact that I rolled a natural 1 on Barzul's original entry, and so it didn't come up on the natural 1 when Barzul jumped across. Anyway, so you get to the other side, and you're sort of like this short 10-foot long hallway, and then leads down to another just long stretch of staircase.
It is,
Scarecase
it
is
a
about
staircase.
right.
Yeah,
we just passed the scarecase off.
Pretty much. Yes. That leads all the way down. You can see as you get basically what happens is this staircase, about 5 feet from where it ends, it sort of continues out into an open room. So, just like, whatever, you're like in a basement or something like that. Oh, sorry, the reveal didn't happen. You basically have come on, Relio. You basically have this long staircase, but then the bottom 5 feet of it sort of stick out into what you can tell is sort of a room that opens up to the right. And then on that same level, goes straight ahead for about 15 feet before it leads into a door.
So, yeah. Well, what's
I
the
think
best way to go
Barzul is
down?
still
Yeah.
taking the lead unless anyone else wants to.
I'd say just
And Barzul's a natural, like, field commander or whatever, right?
Barzul was
Right. So your personality is like that, right?
yeah. Barzul like Thargan would normally be like at head. Thargan would not have other people with him unless they were expendable. So sort of like now, but
Because
so
like
Barzul will be sort of in the lead here. I
yeah,
think.
because Jad's past life was imperious with people, but wasn't a natural leader, you know. So, but yeah.
So we'll go down to the landing and did the lights come back up, Elspeth? Now that are they still there? I forget.
The lights were concentration. I think I might have lost concentration while I was falling.
And if that didn't do it, it's
But now they're
definitely-
back up.
If that didn't do it, it was definitely Tamron being like, and then Jed said he did this, and I don't think that helped the story. It didn't help the guy at all. He said he did a thing to the stomach. You seem, does that sound, just asking all these medical questions, but he's
I mean,
stories.
that does sound a little bit counterintuitive, but I mean, there's usually use like a dagger or something sharp.
I just use my teeth.
That's not very sanitary.
And I smile and show my glinting teeth again and lick it with my extra long tongue.
Anything in that lending?
No, it actually seems to be clear as you get down there.
All right, we'll just keep loping on all fours. I think this is like the way that Barzul is now like accustomed to moving in this narrow, like this like front space for him.
So yeah, you sort of pass by where this sort of opening, sort of larger room over to your right. It seems to be clear with the light. Whatever might have been here, scared away by the noise or the malleable doing its thing up above. There is this door ahead of you on the left at the end of a small little 10-foot hallway.
Open it. Not charge through this one.
So
the adrenaline has like dipped a little bit.
Cool. So you open up the door. Again, not trapped, not locked in any way. And it opens up into about a 25-foot square room with a masonry floor. This room has collapsed. There's a hole in the center that has collapsed away. And a quick look up, you can see that this is directly beneath the hole that you spotted up above. And from this angle, you can really see the damage and just how precarious all of the debris from 2 or 3 other floors just barely hanging on, whether they had fallen previously or not. And this room itself is littered all over the ground with debris, fallen debris on it.
Now, if I look down that hole, can I see the bottom yet?
Give me a perception. Everyone can do a perception check if you all go in there. And Jod, you are at advantage again.
Perfect. 18.
4.
6.
On our 2 18s, Jod, you do smell blood here again. And this time you actually smell it wafting up out of this hole. It's not on the hole itself. It's from below. You can, our 2 18s, I'll say Barzul, you can hear sort of the faint sound of sort of like flowing liquid sort of up from the hole. Like the liquid's not coming up to the hole, but you can hear the sound of like running water, but in the wasteland, you never assume liquid is water. You know, everyone else would just think it's running water, but lots of things are sketchy. Yeah. And with that perception check, I'll say, as you look down in the hole, about 20 feet below where this hole is, you can see it's just sort of like an open area, like an open cavern. And there's a pile of fresh rubble down there that sort of slopes away, like directly away from where that door you entered in the room was. And since both of you made higher than a 16, you can see that there is a figure buried underneath the rock and rubble there.
I'm going to turn to Elspeth.
Elspeth's going to rush in and start moving rocks as gently as she can.
It's 20 feet down to get down there.
Oh, it's 20 feet down?
So there's the hole 20 feet down, and then you see this,
geez.
this sort of sloping scree where the body.
Do we have any more rope?
I think Barzul is gonna. Well, first is gonna ask Elspeth to say sort of like not ask, sort of like command. Like his instincts is not to ask things. But we'll just say light, and sort of like as he like.
I throw the light down into the room.
To get a better look on the form that's the figure that's on the ground.
It is partially buried. It is hard to make out just because it's sort of further down the slope. You can't quite make it out from here. But
I try and sorry.
I'm sorry. You
Can I
can see
try-
better inside the cavern. It's probably about 30 to 40 feet across, sort of oval in shape. And you also now can sort of see it's flowing down. You can see sort of where the water is flowing, sort of sparkling, not water, assume water, liquid is flowing down further along at the bottom of this sort of sloping pile of debris.
And I
so
can't
it's- go
smell
ahead.
who it is.
Ooh.
'Cause I tasted the other person's blood before to be like, let me see.
You can smell both of them.
Oh. And I'm gonna try just see if they're conscious, just as a test. I'm gonna try and lob a message at them. At the person whose feet I see. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you-
okay, I'm assuming there's a head there.
Yeah, you hear nothing back.
Okay. So I'm like, they're either dead or unconscious. I do not think they're dead. And I can smell both Rakesh and his, and I turn to Elspeth, like eyebrow raised, assailant.
Barzul. Oh, sorry.
Elspeth, go ahead.
Probably assailant. Yeah.
Barzul takes. For most people, it's a backpack. For him, it's like a
Fanny
little-
pack?
It's
Yeah,
a fanny pack.
it's a fanny pack on like his backside, and he will pull out a rope, and he also has a 50-foot length of rope. Will pull out a rope and toss it to someone. Also, question, Toss Ball. So you said it descends into an opening in the chamber, right?
Yeah.
And I want to. We'll see how this goes. I just want to drop and then wings out to catch myself to like
Yep.
descend down without
Whereas
crushing these
yeah,
two bodies.
Whereas above it would not have worked. Here, the hole is big enough that you can fit through, and in that 20 feet, there's a big enough opening where you could parachute. You probably couldn't fly.
Yeah, that's like I just want to like catch myself so I don't crush the two people immediately beneath
Yeah.
me. But I will toss the rope first.
Yeah, you only see
could
one
probably-
body. Jad smells two, but
Okay,
yes,
I will
you can-
toss the rope to Tamrind.
And if you guys are climbing down, I will help you climb by clinging to the
So-
wall.
Perfect. Yeah.
So again, this is sort of a hole in the floor. It's sort of whether it's not straight, it's not well walls down. You would sort of have to go underside, walk across the ceiling, then walk down the walls.
Sure, okay.
To do so. But there's enough ways that you all certainly can all make it to the bottom and arrive at this figure that you see buried.
What is this chamber like that we're in?
It's about 40 feet. It's 30 feet by 40 feet oval. That sort of the long axis of it extends out in the direction sort of beyond what would have been the far wall of the room up above you. So sort of an egg-shaped room down again at the very bottom of this sort of slope of debris and sloping cavern. There is water flowing. And other than that, you
Actually
basically
water.
just have the hole above you, this big sort of open cavern, and you're on a sloping pile of debris that goes down to sort of a running stream.
Is it actually water?
It smell down here. Actually, Tamrind would know this. It is that sort of same rancid smell of the water that would come out of the spring. So poisonous.
That's why you had those like mushrooms, right? To clean the water.
No, Tamrind would immediately recognize that smell.
Can I locate the other person's smell? Because we can't see him yet, right? Is he buried in the rubble or something?
You only, like I said, you see one body buried in the rubble. I would say you all have arrived at that person now. You all have enough ways to get down there. They're about 10 feet down the slope from the hole. And they pretty much, you can just see parts of clothing and the figure buried.
Yeah.
You all can roll an investigation check to sort of.
I mean, depending, Elspeth, if you were like still kind of planning on rushing over and just jumping in, like Tamrind would be right there by your side.
Yeah. Elspeth's lit up the area with the
Yeah.
lights and is starting to move rocks as
So-
quickly as possible.
Becomes quickly obvious this is not Rakesh, and I think Jad, as soon as some of the rubble gets moved away,
Yeah.
there is lots of Rakesh's blood around this area, but the person, the figure that there is not Rakeesh. And so give me some what those investigation rolls are.
Yeah.
Let me know if anyone got either higher than a 15 or lower than a 10.
I would like to roll. Oh, I got a 19.
I actually got a 19, so 20. I got a 21 total.
Nice.
Okay.
I got lower than 10.
So pretty quickly, you see this this body that you uncover. It is a human body. Jad, you immediately are assailed. This is the assailant. This is the other person. Freshly dead. It is a robed human figure, sort of mage-type robes. Very well coiffed, like more so than anyone that you have seen in the Wastelands, probably, or encountered any of you. Maybe in Thargrin's past life, you've worked for some pretty rich people. This is definitely someone of means, and it's very odd that they are here and looking as well coiffed and as well fed as they are. They have dark hair with sort of a light brown complexion and very sort of like noble features. On those higher rolls, you find a jeweled ring, a ornamental but very functional dagger. Jad, you would smell remnants of Rakeesh's blood.
I hiss and say that.
And you actually also find, Barzul, you would be able to identify this just by look, a healing potion.
Will probably just, gruesome as it is, just break the finger that has the ring and take the ring off.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like the kind of person that would just attack someone out of nowhere.
Seems a little too clean and proper for
Yeah, how long
That
ago?
kind of violence.
Yeah, how long ago can I tell from the blood or whatever, if I can tell, did
Probably,
this person die?
I mean, 2 hours. I mean, assuming it's taken you an hour to come down the tower. 45 minutes to an hour by the time you had your escapades outside. But I mean, it would make sense. The timeline would line up that this person was alive when you pretty much can assume that Rakeesh was alive.
Okay, and I know I can. Can I tell that Rakeesh was in this room and I can't smell his body in here?
The blood of this human and the blood, Rakeesh's blood that is around and on his clothes, on his robes, on the dagger, and especially this acrid smell of this stream, you can't get a better read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of scents going on in here.
Yeah,
and the
of
scent
course.
you're looking for is right in front of you.
In front of me, absolutely. Yeah.
Barzul, what was your role on your investigation?
I rolled a 17. It's -1, so 16.
16. That's enough. So when you break the finger off and this ring, in sort of your a little bit clumsier hands, as you sort of look at the ring and try to get it off of this finger that you've ripped off, it sort of pops apart, and you quickly realize that the jewel is fake. And what's revealed underneath the jewel is a family signet with the name Sambarthane engraved around the edge.
Can you spell that for me?
I will. Actually, I will cut and paste. And put it in the chat.
Yeah, please just cut and paste in the chat.
Sorry, that was funny. I started coughing.
And there's this potion, and I think instinctively Barzul is going to pocket it.
Okay. I mean, Elsbeth was there with as high of an investigation roll, so
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, in fact, I think you had the higher investigation roll, didn't you? Have a 19.
Yep.
So
Me.
Yeah.
At a 21.
on a 21, I'm going to give her first dibs on it, whether
cool.
she would take it, or.
But I
if
did
she-
recognize what it was.
You did recognize what it was.
Yeah.
Elspeth, as having in the
Okay.
healing bag, she would probably think of it as treasure. I mean, as like we all think
Sure.
of it as it's 50 gold. For her, I mean, a healing potion. If you've come across one in your mom's sort of healing practices through the years, and your sisters,
I also have a herbalism kit, so I have the ability to make them if I get the
Yeah.
proper materials.
So I should say both
Okay.
of you would recognize what it was then. So
Yep.
I'll
In
let
that
you all
case,
work it out
I will.
between you.
I will
if
let
you-
them.
Do that.
Well, I'll say if it's a healing potion, but do you want to hold on to it, Barzul?
Presented
Put
with
in
the
it.
choice.
Put it in your little fanny pack.
His palm just like encompasses it
Yeah.
and just puts it away. And as he he doesn't look at her.
Ah,
I'm
like,
gonna
sort of
keep
like-
pushing this. That's what I'm gonna
yes.
Like every time you're nice, he's just like, oh,
I'm
God,
gonna
why
say
are you so nice.
Jad notices this reaction and remembers it.
Okay.
So
Noted.
after the reveal that this is his attacker, I think Tamrin is just kind of like in full scurry mode of like using the chisel hammer in his arm and like kicking around. I'm just looking for any sort of like signs or clues of, you know, where Rakesh is.
I'll let you guys, now that you've sort of all roll another investigation check to see. I assume you all are worried about
Yeah, yeah.
Rakesh. So
Also,
Can I-
Jay,
Question.
do that. Sorry, Carl, go.
I was gonna say, could I make a survival check? I'm like looking for tracks.
absolutely, survival check. Or I'd say survival or investigation is fine.
I asked I said I remember this question because I have lots of illusions. I want to see, these are wizard's robes. Does this trigger any memory or anything for me? These robes?
Do you feed?
Oh yeah, that's fresh. I have a pretty fresh human blood. Like last night it was a rat on the road, right? Yeah, and we've been traveling for a while. It's been a while since I ate what's his name, Peter or Bill or Bob or
Yeah.
Ben. Yeah.
Phil.
I'm gonna.
Dude,
Phil,
you literally ate Phil like 6 hours ago.
I know it has not been that.
But we've
long.
been walking a long time.
It's been
Um,
stressful.
Before this
It's
takes
stressful.
place, there is one thing I would like to do
Yes.
with the body before Jad decides to feed on it. I would like to actually do a medicine check to see if there was anything physically wrong with this person that would have caused him to attack Rakesh.
Ooh.
Like, for example, if there was a crystal embedded in his
Oh,
body
right,
that might have
right.
caused madness.
So yes, no, absolutely. Roll me a medicine check with advantage since you
That's
are.
funny.
That's a natural 19 plus 2, so that's
Yeah, no, you do a
21.
very thorough investigation. You find no sign of crystals. Really not a whole lot of scars. You do find a precisely placed dagger attack, which y'all haven't known each other that long. So, but that someone might have gotten a sneak attack on somebody.
Someone recently got stabbed.
That someone had some advantage and was able to finish this person off, but it sounded that by the amount of blood from Rakesh. Yes, Rakesh got a killing blow on this person, and a very skillfully, almost surgical blow to end this person. But the biggest thing that you notice are the hands. There are lots of ink, sort of ink stains. Someone who obviously like a scholar. This person is definitely follows some scholarly pursuits that would have them writing quite a bit. And
So
again,
calluses on the middle finger and the index.
yep, and the again some obvious stains from ink as well.
And as I'm like waiting, not patiently, like I'm bouncing on the balls of my feet. You don't know why, right? As Elspeth is looking at the body, and when Elspeth steps away, I look at you, Elspeth, to make sure you're like done, and then my knees bend backwards as I leap onto the body and unhinge my jaw again, latch it around like the entire throat with this unhinged jaw, and start to feed on this person.
Seeing that for the very first time, Elspeth will shriek.
Oh right, you didn't see it last time.
I was around a corner.
You
He
were
does
All I
this.
heard-
He does this.
All I heard was Bill.
Barzul doesn't even, not even.
Jad, do me a wisdom saving throw.
I'm so excited. Okay, let me see. I might have a dot on it. I don't remember. I do not. Oh, +0. Yay. 11.
Okay. As the blood starts to flow into your mouth, your brain begins to swirl with a memory. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight. Hope you guys had fun with our little dungeon crawl this evening. I hope it was kind of something new and interesting. We will have Don back next week, and we get to find out what he's been up to. And I hope you all had a great time. I had fun. I certainly did. It was fun running this dungeon for you all, you crazy people. Let's go around. We'll go in reverse order like we normally do. Hey, Bird, tell us where we can find you and what all you do.
Hey, I'm Bird. I am always busy and tired, but sometimes you can find me streaming online at Bird vs. Plane, on Twitter at Bird vs. Plane, and just kind of around the internet. Awesome, guys. Really fun.
Next up, we have Carl.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Carl Nelson, on Twitch and Instagram as Visions of Carl. Otherwise, I'm around the internet. My other stream is on summer break until September 1st. Barzul, oh my gosh. Yeah, here we go.
Woot! Yeah, we got to see Barzul in action, both good and bad. Next up, we have Anita.
Hi, I'm Anita, or Panita, or Critical Misses. You can find me everywhere online at Panita or at Critical Misses. I'm a TTRPG streamer, graphic designer, producer, and cat mom. You can find me most often on the Critical Misses Network. You can find me there on Mondays for Kingsguard, which is a Roll20 Spotlight show. On Wednesdays, I'm behind the scenes producing our brand new show next week. It starts. It's called Fire and Flame. It's a Humblewood campaign.
Cool.
I'm very excited to get started on. And then on Friday this week, you can find me over on my channel GMing a game, like an actual mini series for the first time. I've only really done one shots. That's going to be a little horror game called The Growing of the Dim. And I'm really excited. I've got a great cast and very excited to get started.
Awesome. And last but not least, Sharon.
And I'm Sharang Biswas. You can find me on Twitter at Sharang Biswas or on itch.io at Astrolingus. I'm currently part of 2 Kickstarters right now. So first off is Avatar Legends, which is the official Avatar The Last Airbender game made by Magpie Games, one of the contributing designers. Check that out. As some people mentioned today, it has just surpassed $1 million on its first day, which is really cool. So do check it out and look upon my sexy face there. If you didn't get enough today, I'm better groomed in that photo. I'm also part of the Fedora Noir Kickstarter, which is an indie RPG where you can play a detective and their hat. Like, you literally can be the hat. It's a small noir-esque card-based role-playing game. I wrote one of the scenarios, which is a northern tundra school for necromancy for queer kids who are kicked out of their homes. They're like, why don't we turn you into necromancers? So check that out. It's really cool. And it is now currently at 15,000 and its goal was 5,000. So people seem to like it.
Nice. I am Tall Squall. I was your DM tonight. Hope you had a great time. You can find me all over the interwebs as Tall Squall. And again, thank you so much for supporting the station. We do this 100% for charity to help out Satchel's Last Resort, which is a wonderful animal rescue charity that works out of Sarasota down here in Florida. Until next time, gather your friends together and tell a story, because that's what it's all about. Have a great one, everyone. Good night. We're going to raid a channel. Go over there and give them some love. Bye-bye.